You, as a child, began going out of body and literally never stopped. You never lost the
Yeah.
awareness of it.
Yeah. Well, I tried to lose the awareness of it for a little bit. Like, because for the first, about the first, like, probably 10 years, I was like, I don't want this. Take it away. What is this? Like, because I was experiencing negative things
Mm,
when I was younger,
yeah, yeah.
so I was like, I don't want this. I was experiencing positive things too, but you know how it is sometimes when negativity seems to outweigh the positive because of the way it made you feel.
Mhm.
So it was like every time I experienced something negative, I was like, I don't want to do this. I don't want this experience. So I used to try to cut it off, but it never would.
But what were some of the first experiences you were having?
They was my first experiences were like always around the house or the neighborhood I was in. It was like I would come out in my room and basically just like everybody when they first had that experience running around. Oh my God, no, this is amazing. It's real. I run out the room. I go in the living room. I go in the kitchen, go eat some food out the refrigerator, look around, look at pictures, and I would
Mhm.
see myself in pictures, and I wouldn't be. It'd be pictures that I've never seen before, and I'd be like, this ain't," because I used to always be like, okay, this ain't real because I see myself as an adult in this picture, and I'm a kid. So it's like, why am I seeing myself as an adult? But,
You mentioned
but
negative experiences. So,
yeah, those was like the next in line. They was like just, hey, let me come visit you and mess with you a little bit. But the thing was, I realized as I got older that it was my thought creations. So it was my fear. It was my the things that because I was living in a low vibrational place at that time. Like I was raised in a ghetto neighborhood. It was what I'm saying, a bunch of violence, bunch of this and that.
mhm.
So when you're in a negative state, whether it be you mentally in a negative space or you in a negative space, it seems like it once you have these experiences, a lot of times you can experience negative things because it's like in your subconscious. So you end up seeing what you creating. But a lot of times people think it's something outside of them that's just there. Like oh man, it's a demon that's coming to me. Oh Lord. No, that's you. You
Yeah.
created that. But people don't realize that you created that. That means that you can create something better. But you creating that out of fear. When you create it out of love, it changes. You know what I'm saying? That's
Yes.
your power that you displaying in that moment. Is that even though you don't recognize it as your power because it's something that's scaring you,
Mm.
that's actually your power that you're seeing. So that's why it's so easy to get rid of them.
With
And that's
that,
always been something that's been crazy to me to think like when you start to go out and you see different versions of yourself
mm,
living a life or you actually sit and talk to yourself. Like that's the craziest thing to me. I'd be like, what the heck am I? I see myself as a woman in another life.
mhm.
Talk to myself like the woman version of myself, and I'm like, I don't want to experience that. Let me stay in this one.
I don't know how I feel about
she,
that. Yeah, you have to
yeah,
get over that too, right?
yeah, you do. Like,
Understand that we're not just positive and negatively oriented in some life
hmm,
experiences. We're also sometimes male, sometimes female,
yeah,
sometimes earth human, sometimes not earth human. I mean, and so it can get
yeah,
pretty wild. And all of that has to integrate when it's in our conscious state of awareness through our central
yeah.
nervous system. Person, I'm not a fighter, I'm a
You
runner.
just like, what's
So in
going
fight or
on?
flight, I'm definitely flight.
Yeah, I'm fighting. I'm.
But when I came across, we're going to have some fun with that. Yeah. But when I would come across another Casey, I mean, I would just start beating the crap out of her. I never did figure out what that was or why that was my immediate
You got
go-to in that
uncomfortable.
situation, but has that ever happened with you?
I've never beat up another version of myself, but I never did that before. But I ain't gonna lie,
Yeah.
I'll fought a lot.
The awakening, and so, like, one of my
Mm,
first experiences, so much happened. I'm shifting from the conscious state, so before I'm even out, I'm feeling hands on me, I'm feeling presence in the room,
hmm.
I'm feeling this, feeling like I'm a live wire, like I'm being electrocuted, quite literally,
Yeah.
my whole body, I'm in central nervous system shock, and I
Hmm.
finally get out. This entity that's here with me is trying to help me get out, and they take me to tell me my father's passing. And so,
Yeah.
another like, as though this wasn't enough to handle, I'm now going to be told something like this in the
Hmm.
experience, right? And so
Like dang.
it was a major, major, traumatic
that's
thing, and it didn't end with that either. As soon as I got back from there, I didn't even have a chance to integrate what had just happened, and I was abducted. Now, you
yeah,
processed a lot of confrontation in the etheric frequency bandwidth. Tell me about that.
yeah. Talking about like fighting and stuff.
Yeah, yeah,
But most of the time I didn't have to really like physically fight. It was mostly energy, pushing stuff away. Like when you see some of these negative beings or something, if they see you know who you are, if you
yeah,
know what you can do, they're gonna tread light with you. They ain't gonna.
yeah,
They might try to manipulate you and be like, yeah, you know, as soon as you ask them some questions, they're gonna get a little frustrated
yeah.
and they're gonna be like,
But we don't always end the experiences, right? And so,
hmm,
yeah, I've been attacked multiple times.
yeah,
I attempted myself to beat the crap out of myself. Yeah, I've been sexually assaulted. All of these things
hmm,
happen.
yeah,
All of these things can happen, and do happen. Uh,
hmm,
and we have to process it. Now, how did that happen? How was I able to not get myself out of that situation?
yeah,
And
yeah.
exactly how would I the next time?
There was times where I seen when I was younger and I seen something that looked negative that didn't come towards me, but I realized how much like I was the ignorant one in the experience
Mm,
because I seen it walking down the street, and when I seen it, I said, "Oh, you think you slick?" I felt like he was trying to scare me, so I ran up to him. I
mm.
ran over to him real fast and slapped him in the face. Like, whoosh.
Oh,
He looked like a big old like he was red, had these horns. He was big. He was just walking down the street slow motion.
well, those horned beings, those I know that they look like what we like to envision as
That's a
as devils
yeah.
and stuff like that. But they're archaic. They're ancient. There are
Mhm.
down at the very very core, so far beyond where we are consciousness wise, and
Yeah.
and a lot of times our drainers. They're helping
Mm.
us in these experiences to
Ah,
evolve past our perceived fears, and
yeah.
so if this envisionment is falls within the category of what might be fearful to you, it will present in order to help us get
Yeah.
beyond that. Here's an observation. I'm really great at observation. If nothing else, right? I would notice that the more fearful type of experiences, the ones that gave my central nervous system the largest difficulties, happened at the top of the night between 11 and 2 a.m. The more shocking, the more impactful on my system, the more I dig it because I remember it.
Yeah.
And there's usually
Yeah.
something in there that's intriguing to me, such as one time I was passing through the etheric frequency bandwidth after such an experience one morning, and I noticed that in the etheric frequency version of my room, there's electronic spiders crawling all over the ceiling.
Yeah.
I'm like, what the
I remember this one experience I had where I went outside. When I came out my body, I ran outside. And this is when I was younger. That's why I be telling people like sometimes you'll get scared of stuff that you shouldn't be scared of. I
Mm,
walked outside and it was like a normal day. It was like nighttime though. It was nighttime when I looked to the side. On the side of the roof, it was a bunch of owls, and they was just looking at me, white owls, and they was looking at me. And when I
mm,
moved their head towards me, like they just followed me. Freaked me out, like was freaking me the heck out. As soon as I started getting freaked out, they flew off. But when they flew off, it looked like angel wings. And
mm.
when I flew off, I was like, but I wasn't scared no more when I seen that. I was like, what the heck? Like, so that was they left probably because I was terrified because I was like, why is these owls looking at me?
Yeah.
Like, but
The snowy owl used to visit me a lot in experiences as well too. But let me just say, you know what the owl is often indicative of?
what's that?
Contact.
Contact?
Yeah, extraterrestrials often appear as
Oh,
that.
for real?
Yeah,
Extra.
yeah, that's a thing. It's
I didn't.
hard, people, yeah, they cannot realize not having the experience is that when you go into these expanded states, you don't experience yourself as separated, you know, from people, beings, entities, as you do here in 3D physical space. You know,
Yeah.
you feel, or at least I did in my experiences, I felt the penetration of our fields. I felt it from the withinness of myself. It can feel
Yeah.
invasive. It takes some time to get used to that level of beingness, and how you're going to
Yeah.
experience yourself here and get used to the
Hmm.
fact that fields naturally penetrate in these expanded states. It literally is the going out beyond of where you are right now. And of course, there's going to be stuff there that you're not used to, and
Yeah.
ways of being and experiencing. And again, that way in which, your fields are very tangibly to you overlapped, and that information
Hmm.
and energetic experiences coming to you, more directly, not to you from the outside through space, but from a level of right there within you.
Yeah.
It's that takes some acclimating to. Again, it's going to send the central nervous system into shock, and you're going to have to process that in a way that's beneficial to you and hopefully others.
Then you got them zones where they kind of like in a hospital, them dimensional spaces where they kind of like in a hospital. Now,
Mm,
I'm not too sure of how that dimensional space was created, if it was created through our subconscious for when we passed, to if we had like problems with like alcohol abuse or drug abuse or
mm,
certain things. But some people, when they pass away, they go into this hospital and they kind of be getting assisted by these what look like doctors or nurses or something. So
mhm.
it's that place right there too, and they'll be there for a cool little minute.
And
But
there's places where the negatively oriented are also engaged in their own orientation. And like I've been taken into like bloody hospitals and places where others are
mm,
being kept prisoner with no
yeah,
doors on or anything. They have been so diminished. The doors to keep them
mm,
in aren't even necessary anymore. They're just gone.
yeah,
So I've been, taken into some places like that for retrieval.
yep.
Uh,
It can be pretty sad.
yeah.
Like, dang, they lost,
It can be
lost.
hard. I've been taken into, oh God, this one. It was inside of a building, which had some kind of a basement level, but it was actually attached to the first level of the building. And from that first level, uh, there's an opening at floor level that has bars that sort of go down into this sub area that was kept full of water, and people were chained in there. Yeah, it's a
Hmm.
it can be horrible. We're never left in them for longer than we can manage. Uh, you know,
Yeah,
to be helpful in some way, to be ourself in some way,
yeah,
which is itself is what helps the people that are there. Yeah, I've been taken into war areas where people are dying, children are dying.
hmm,
And I'm taken in right to the moment that they're actually going to pass, just to get
yeah,
eye contact with them going, and to, send the love energy and to let them know it's going to be over in just a minute.
hmm.
Those are
You
sad.
good? Come on.
Those are sad.
Yeah, they can be pretty sad. I done been in
Yeah.
some dark places
It
where
feels
like
good
that.
to be there to help, but yeah.
Yeah, I
Mhm.
tried to help some people because they was in a room and them room didn't have no doors. And they
Yeah.
was like stuck in this room and I'm like, why y'all in here? And they like, we can't get out. And I was like, yeah, you can. And I was like, they was like, you can't. I was like, I said, I'm in an out of body. I can wake up at any time. He was like, no, when you here, you stuck. I closed my eyes,
Hmm.
opened my eyes. I was laying in the bed. I closed them back and I went right back. And I said, yeah, I can wake up. So I started lifting all the rooftops off of these cells. I was lifting them up. And when I started doing that, I heard somebody yelling, talking about the keeper of times is coming. The keeper of time is coming. And I'm like, who the keeper of time is? So I bust away through the door. I look down the hallway. It's like these metal crates on the ground, like the walkway is like metal. And he's walking up. He had like this stick in his hand with it like what looked like a dream catcher, but it wasn't. But it just that's what it reminded me of. He's walking towards me, and I'm like, who the heck is this? When he got close to me, I was like, he was like, what are you doing, Chris? And I was like, oh, he know my name.
Yeah.
And I said, I'm trying to help these people. They think I'm trying to help them with what he's like, I'm trying to help them. He said, and I was like, while he was talking to me, I was like, man, I know who you are. And he was like, oh, do you? And I said, you the devil. And he said,
Oh,
how did you know? And I said, oh, because I
you
don't
were
even know
just
why I
kidding,
said
and he
that.
was.
He said, how did you know?
I
And I
think he was
said,
having a spot
oh,
of fun back with you.
yeah, he probably was. And then we actually walked and he was talking to me, trying to explain to me why he had these people in these cells. And I was like, I don't want to hear that. And it's back when I was like, I was real young back then.
Yeah.
So I was deep in my word in the Christian. I don't want to hear none of that. I said, I believe in God. I don't believe in none of that. And he stayed calm the whole time. He didn't get loud. He just said, okay. And he said, well, let me introduce you to my hellhounds. And I'm thinking, like, I look back, I see this big old dog house. and I'm like, I see chains on these dogs' necks. Now they big, but I see chains. So I'm like, oh, I'm just run back real far, and the chain going burp. Like I start running backwards, like, but I'm looking at them while I'm running backwards, and they coming, and it's not stopping. And I'm like, why is it not stopping? This is a long chain. It scratched my arm like right here, and I could
Mhm.
feel it. And I was like, oh shoot! And I pushed the dogs back with my energy. When I did that, the dude grabbed me by my arm and threw me in the air. He threw me in the air like I was a rag doll.
Yeah.
And I'm flying. He didn't throw me like I was about to crash into no buildings or nothing, but he threw me and I was like gently like flying through the air. Like, did he just throw me?
Mhm.
And I landed on the ground like, oh, he got me messed up. And I pushed him with my energy through the wall. And I ran into the wall after him. Like, come on, let's get it. Like, let's go. And we in there for a minute, we was just pushing energy at each other.
Yeah.
It wasn't like no fight. It was just
No.
us pushing energy towards each other.
Yes.
And
Uh-huh.
I'm doing this, and as I'm doing this, I started getting to the point where I was like, okay, he got some power. Like he kind of strong. And I
Yeah.
was like, let me just go ahead and wake up. But I
Right.
couldn't wake up. So I was like, oh, next you know, an angel came out of nowhere and hit him in the forehead with an arrow. Like shocked the crap out of me because I'm like, where he come from? Had on
Mm.
all white. And he like, hit him in the forehead, hit the ground. The angel walked up to me and grabbed me, was like, are you okay, Chris? And I was like, yeah. And he
Yeah.
threw me on his back like a kid. And while I'm on his back, we flying up out this place. And it's this big old sun that's like dim, but the clouds is
Mhm.
dark. And as we going up, I'm like, whoo, this is a hell of a place, ain't it? And the angel was like giggled and was like, yeah, it is.
Yeah.
And as I'm flying up, I just start fading out and woke up. I was like, yeah, nah, I don't want to go back to that one. Nah. Hmm.
Yeah, that's the
You
word.
experience a lot with out of bodies. Like a lot of people think it's like this. When you come out, you're just gonna experience like one type of thing, like certain thing. Like no, I've experienced lives where, like, imagine being. I was 19 years old, experiencing lives of me being married with kids
Mm.
and experiencing emotions, heartbreak, like all this stuff at that age. And I didn't have that at that. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, you
Yeah.
come back and have the information of somebody who had a whole family, and then you try to tell somebody some advice, and they're like, "You ain't got no damn kid. Why you telling me?" You're like, "Well, I did before."
And I'm aware that I did. Yeah, what you're
Yeah,
consciously aware of, you experience. And what you
yeah,
experience, you have to process. Yeah. And so processing all of
hmm
that takes some doing. And I thank you for what you've processed, for your work and for your service, which I know is ongoing and will go a long ways more before you've completed this life experience.
yeah.
Same here.
Same here. I like the way you said that. That's how you said same here.
Chris,
Yeah, we are here.
super fun to meet you. Super fun to meet some of the younger OBEers out there. That started happening for me again this year. And
Yeah,
being a grandmother type, I do like to keep my radar out on, all of the OBEers and people exploring consciousness and all that. So super fun
yeah.
to have found you. Thank you so much for agreeing to come on.
No
This is a
problem.
series called What's Really Out There.
Yeah. What
So
is really out there?
yeah, I know,
No.
right? So we'll just hash it back and forth,
Yeah,
your experiences of what you found out there, what you've learned, how you've integrated these experiences, how you utilize them and share them in real space and all of that. So
yeah,
let's start with, I already know the answer to this question. You, as a child, began going out of body and literally never stopped. You never lost the
yeah.
awareness of it.
Yeah, well, I tried to lose the awareness of it for a little bit, like, because for the first, about the first, like, probably 10 years, I was like, I don't want this. Take it away. What is this? Like, because I was experiencing negative things
Mm,
when I was younger,
yeah, yeah.
so I was like, I don't want this. I was experiencing positive things too, but you know how it is sometimes when negativity seems to outweigh the positive because of the way it made you feel.
Mhm.
So it was like every time I experienced something negative, I was like, I don't want to do this. I don't want this experience. So I used to try to cut it off, but it never would. Like it was just like, nope.
Right. So you literally carried the out of body experience through childhood into your
Hmm.
adulthood, without losing it. So there was no, like with me, an awakening moment where it
Kind of,
all
sort
come.
of,
Yeah. Oh,
because
well, tell me about it.
when I was 15 is when I had my first conscious, where I knew what I was doing. My
Yeah.
first conscious experience when I was 15. But I didn't know that I was having them when I was younger. I just knew I was a very lucid dreamer. Like,
Hmm.
I always remember my dreams when I was a kid till that time. And then I only figured out that I was having out of body experiences when I was a kid because I would go back to some of the same places that I was going to when I was a kid. And I was like, hold up. I thought this was a dream. That's a realistic dream. I'm like, okay, I've been coming out my body for a long time. But I only count when I was 15 to now because I was more aware of it.
Okay. So that hits a critical point in the way that people either do or do not define out of body experience. So, like me, I define it
Mhm.
by the fully conscious shift.
Yeah.
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 So you were going out of body without really realizing that's what it was yet. And then when you were
Hmm.
15, uh, you had the realization and began making conscious shifts from physical space
Yeah, no,
intentionally.
it just came up on me. I was laying down and I just had an out of body experience, and I was like, what is this?" I thought
Yeah.
I might have died. I was like, "What?" But I knew what it was though,
Yeah.
because like I was saying on one of the other videos, um, you remember Sylvia Brown?
Oh, yeah.
She used to always go on like the Montel Williams show. She used to always talk about, like, it was a lady that was on there. And she was talking about how she wake up in sleep paralysis and it's terrifying and stuff. And I was like, that's crazy. I do that too. And she was like, that's just you. She basically explained what it was, and I was like, that's when she brought up out of body, and I'm like, oh, that's interesting. But I never tried it until that day when it happened. Then when I came out my body, I was like, hold up, I think I just had an out of body. Then I started doing my little ventures around the house, throwing stuff, thinking I was a ghost. I thought I was gonna see everything that I did once I came back, but when I came back, nothing changed. Like, because I threw all my uncle's clothes around the house. Like, we. I was just throwing clothes. Like, I'm gonna find this when I come back and tell everybody this is real. This is really happening. Nah, but
So
yeah, that was my first consciously aware out of body experience.
what was the integration process back into real space like? What did the people around you say when you tried to tell them?
They was just like, well, my uncle, he said, to be present from the body is to be present. What he say? To be absent from the body is to be present with the Lord. And I was like, he called me crazy. Like, that's what I thought. Cause I'm like, he just saying I'm crazy. He don't want to say it. But I wouldn't tell too many people. I told like my mama, my sister and stuff. But
Yeah.
outside of that, back then, I wasn't telling too much of nobody about that. Cause they were gonna be like, put him in the psych ward. Like,
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. No, the
yeah.
instinct right there is a good one because that happens to a
Mm,
lot of us. So
yeah.
yeah, good. So not a lot of support, but not anti-support either. You didn't.
Yeah. I
Okay.
was I was good, but you have some people be like, "Hey man, you don't need to be doing that." And I'm like, "It's happening naturally. It's
Yeah.
not something that I can just stop." And they be like, "Well, you got to stop doing that." How? Tell me. Like, I was looking for the answers back then. I was like, "Tell me," because they had me thinking something was wrong with me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't
Okay.
want to
So
experience something that's wrong with me.
a little anti-support.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm
Because
sorry
people
if
don't
I giggle. It's
understand.
the way I handle stress. So what? Tell me what some of your first experiences were like. You mentioned them not always being, and same here, by the way, same with us all, whether we share those
Mm.
experiences or not. But what were some of the first experiences you were having?
They was my first experiences were like always around the house or the neighborhood I was in. It was like I would come out in my room and basically just like everybody when they first had that experience running around. Oh my God, no, this is amazing. It's real. I run out the room. I go in the living room. I go in the kitchen, go eat some food out the refrigerator, look around, look at pictures, and I would
Hmm.
see myself in pictures and I wouldn't be it'll be pictures that I've never seen before. And I'll be like, this ain't because I used to always be like, okay, this ain't real because I see myself as an adult in this picture and I'm a kid. So it's like, why am I seeing myself as an adult? But as time went on, I started to realize, okay, you just, say you're in different little time, time
You're
don't exist
entering
on the
different
other
time
side.
points. Sure,
Yeah,
sure, sure. The OBE as time travel is one of the concepts I'm the most riveted at.
yeah.
Because I caught myself doing time loops. So I
Yeah.
would go out of body and I would go to a different point in time to myself where I was also in an OBE. And so that began, I began interacting with myself to small degrees. And
Yeah.
that even got to the point where it was off planet. So the me that was coming to visit me was not an Earth human. So
Yeah.
yeah, it got really interesting there.
Yeah.
You mentioned negative experiences. So,
Yeah, those was like the next in line. They was like just, hey, let me come visit you and mess with you a little bit. But the thing was, I realized as I got older that it was my thought creations. So it was my fear. It was my the things that because I was living in a low vibrational place at that time. Like I was raised in a ghetto neighborhood. It was you know what I'm saying, bunch of violence, bunch of this and that.
mhm,
So when you're in a negative state, whether it be you mentally in a negative space or you in a negative space, it seems like it once you have these experiences, a lot of times you can experience negative things because it's like in your subconscious. So you end up seeing what you creating. But a lot of times people think it's something outside of them that's just there. Like they, oh man, it's a demon that's coming to me. Oh Lord. No, that's you. You
yeah,
created that, but people don't realize that you created that. That means that you can create something better. But you creating that out of fear. When you create it out of love, it changes. You know what I'm saying? That's
yes,
your power that you displaying in that moment. Is that even though you don't recognize it as your power because it's something that's scaring you,
mm.
that's actually your power that you're seeing. So that's why it's so easy to get rid of them. But
Yeah, and so I began to see that from the beginning. One of the very first things I would say is that I was the only thing I was going to intersect with out there. But
yeah,
there's so many different dimensions of that, right? So many dimensions of ourself. And those
hmm
entities in wider dimensions can be positively and negatively oriented in working with or seemingly against us, which is really for
hmm
us because it's to help strengthen us.
because it do
Um,
it do help you advance. It do.
Yes. Yeah, so all of that is present. One of the first things I found was that I was intersecting with my own central nervous system. And
Yeah.
so, and because I was so alert within the shift itself, as I was shifting, I could see that the central nervous system and the base mechanism, the fight flight system, was
Mm,
getting ignited right there in the shift as a
yeah.
test to see if I could go any further without it being of detriment to me, right? So that old Hague or
hmm
whatever the entities in your room that are trying to harm
You
you,
got to get past it.
whatever, yes, got to surrender yourself to the one and go into the great mystery without the fear in order to
Hmm
get beyond that. However, I
Yep.
did get beyond that, and I did go into galactic space, and I have intersected and interacted with both positively and negatively oriented entities. And
Yeah.
so now it's within my own construct, yes. My old soul, our soul templates are manifest in various dimensions.
hmm
Galactic space, dimension 654D is among
Yeah.
that. Yeah. And so the seed self that I am is manifest there as well as manifest here.
hmm
And I get to intersect
And
with
that's
that.
always been something that's been crazy to me to think like when you start to go out and you see different versions of yourself
Mm,
living a life, or you actually sit and talk to yourself. Like that's the craziest thing to me. I'd be like, what the heck am I? I see myself as a woman in another life.
mhm.
Talk to myself like the woman version of myself, and I'm like, I don't want to experience that. Let me stay in this one.
I don't know how I feel about
she,
that. Yeah, you have to
yeah,
get over that too, right?
yeah, you do. Like,
Understand that we're not just positive and negatively oriented in some life
hmm
experiences. We're also sometimes male, sometimes female,
yeah,
sometimes earth human, sometimes not earth human. I mean, and so it can get
yeah,
pretty wild. And all of that has to integrate when it's in our conscious state of awareness through our central
yeah,
nervous system. Yeah. And
yeah.
so, yeah, that's the work for sure. So you bring up a very fun point for me because of something that used to happen when I first started going out. And that's and enter, I mean, coming across another you, like another Chris
hmm
Williams, another Casey Clare. So,
Yeah.
like in the etheric frequency bandwidth of my room, I would very often, like the first year that I was going out, come across another Casey. And
hmm
my immediate, and I mean immediate instinct was to beat the crap out of her. And I'm not even that kind of a person. I'm not a fighter. I'm a
You
runner,
just like, what's
so in
going
fight or
on?
flight, I'm definitely flight.
Yeah, I'm fighting. I'm
But when I came across, we're gonna have some fun with that, yeah. But when I would come across another Casey, I mean, I would just start beating the crap out of her. I never did figure out what that was or why that was my immediate
you got
go-to in that
uncomfortable.
situation, but has that ever happened with you?
I've never beat up another version of myself, but I never did that before. But I ain't gonna lie,
Yeah.
I'll fought a lot because, but I think that the fighting held me back a lot as being younger. Like I would have advanced further if I wouldn't have been so because I was fighting out of fear. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah, yeah.
I'm fighting out of fear. Even though when it got to a point where it wasn't that much fear, I
Mm,
was still like, "Oh, this is cool." So I'm like, "Oh, you attack me, I'm messing you up." But that holds you back because think about like I could have like people always ask me like, "Have you met your spirit guides or your higher self or these things?"
mhm.
Spirit guides, I think they kind of just be there, but not there because they know I'm gonna be a little crazy. They be like, hold up, nah, you can't just pop up on him. He gonna start punching on us or something. So that was kind of, I feel like that was holding me back because like even when it comes to like I said on one video, I was like, I don't trust ETs because I seen some mischievous stuff when I was in an out of body experience before, but that's not all ETs. You know what I'm saying? But if I didn't have that discomfort, I would probably see more. Even though I've been in experiences where I was around other earthly looking, I mean not otherworldly looking beings and stuff,
Yeah.
but it just wasn't it was different. It was like I was living in a different life.
Right,
That's
right,
how I
right.
felt.
And sometimes we can perceive the galactics as Earth humans too. It depends on what the central nervous system
Hmm.
can handle. You'll notice that there's something that's not quite right, and you'll begin to
Yeah.
glean that, oh yeah, there's something here that I'm not quite seeing yet or not quite ready to see.
Hmm.
But as far
Yeah.
as where you were in the beginning, I don't think that held you back in the slightest. I think
You
that
know,
you agreed to process what you did,
hmm,
and not skip it.
yeah.
Like a lot of people don't want to face the unpleasant stuff or
Yeah. They
see
just
aspects
wake
of
up. I'm in.
themselves they're not ready to see yet, right? They're still casting the attention out on other. But you
Hmm.
didn't right from the start. Attention was
Yeah.
on self. So that's what put you ahead of the game in my book right there. And you agreed to process what you did until you got it processed. And
Yeah.
that's the game. That's
Yeah.
it. That's the work. That's
Hmm.
that's the service. Process and grow, process and grow, process and grow.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And the
no,
crazy part is most of my siblings have out of bodies, but most of them haven't accepted it. You know what I'm saying? They have it and they be like, I don't know about this. I'll be like, all right, you know what I'm saying? Don't force yourself to have it. Just if you
yeah,
don't want to have them, if you can make it where you not have, even though they still having them,
yeah,
they
yeah.
just, they just not aware.
They're
I was
not.
the only one that had the experience and I was like, what is this? And then I started having them even more.
Yeah.
Like, so,
Well, that's it right there. That's how to have an OBE. People want to know how to have an OBE without realizing where they are. So
hmm,
right now we're in a veiled experience where we are quite literally that which does not know. So how does that which know do anything, get anywhere? It asks a
hmm,
question, right?
yep,
But people want to have the OBE without even knowing what they're asking,
yeah,
without having a question, without asking the question, without taking it into themselves and opening to the answer in
yeah,
whatever way, shape, or form. But I agree with you. Some people just aren't ready to process the OBE as an OBE. Some are
yeah,
only ready to process it as a dream or lucid dream. Others
yeah,
aren't even willing to process it as that. I was processing everything as meditation phenomena. I was a meditator. I didn't process it
hmm,
in any way other than this is stuff that happens in meditation.
yeah,
That was it. I wasn't exploring or investigating it or asking questions about it. I was seeking the silence. Yeah, I was.
yeah,
Yeah. So, and it was all about me, right? That's when it's still
hmm,
all about us. When we
yeah.
start investigating and exploring, processing and growing, when it begins to be about, not just self, but everyone. So
Hmm.
I was
I
on
didn't get really into it until I was living in Virginia and I started making them videos in like '08, '09,
Mhm.
and I ran across Astro Boo Baby and he was he was like at the time he was like one of the only people, like one of the only people I could relate to when it came to his experiences, because I was telling my experiences and people like, how are you experiencing this? And I'm like, how are you not if you have it out of bodies? And when I seen his videos, I was like, okay, yeah, okay, he's on to something. Yeah, he got it. Yeah, he's
Yeah.
a he was making them before me, way before. I don't know if it was way before because YouTube was fairly kind of, new a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Shorter videos, like it was different back then.
Yeah, I
But
loved it back then. I love Boo. I'm so
mhm,
grateful that I came across him when I did, when I first did, because when I started going out of body, and with me, it was a Kundalini awakening, and so there was a lot more than just the out of body experience happening.
yeah.
It was a lot to handle all at once, and uh, Boo would show up in my OBEs.
Oh, that's what's up. That's dope.
His greater being, along with him, like picked me up for a ride, literally.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was through that a lot of the future potential catastrophic events were brought to my attention.
Hmm.
Was through that and through him.
Yep. I done had some people tell me that I was in the experience, and that's the one thing that used to always be fascinating to me. Because I had a friend one time tell me, he's like, I was in sleep paralysis, and you started telling me how to leave my body. Like you was outside, and you was telling me, come on now, come on, leave your body now, relax, and this and that. And I'm like, dang, that's interesting because the things he was saying that I would say is things that I would say. I'm like, but I don't remember having that experience. But
Yeah.
your higher self or your higher being is always out there doing this little thing, doing their thing and helping people you might not know, but
It's a big
you
old
know,
help fest.
yeah.
Big old help fest. One of the first things I learned is love is all there is, and two, we're all in service. So
Hmm.
love and service were the first two concepts to come to me, and that's what helped me get through the fear of when it first began,
Yeah.
when it was mixed with a lot of Kundalini activity through the body.
Yeah.
Um, my experiences, the ones that were, I've had not a negative. Let me see. I've had a nightmare. I've had a repeating experience since childhood, and it's
Ah.
an abduction
Hmm.
type scenario. And my MO, even up till this day, is to run and try to get away from it and to
Yeah.
scream out to somebody for help,
Hmm.
and things like this. I can't remember where I was going with that, honestly, because I have so many questions I want to ask that they're entering my head at the same time that I'm trying to tell this story. But
Yeah.
where were we? Get me back on track.
I got ADHD out of it. As soon as you start laughing, I lose concentration. I'll be like,
I start rambling, man. I just keep, I find a wave and can't get off it. Okay, well, there was a reason I brought that up, but and it came oh yeah, the awakening. And so like one of my
mm,
first experiences, so much happened. I'm shifting from the conscious state. So before I'm even out, I'm feeling hands on me, I'm feeling presence in the room,
mm-hmm.
I'm feeling this feeling like I'm a live wire, like I'm being electrocuted, quite literally,
Yeah.
my whole body. I'm in central nervous system shock, and I
Hmm.
finally get out. This entity that's here with me is trying to help me get out, and they take me to tell me my father's passing. And so,
Yeah.
another like, I have, as though this wasn't enough to handle, I'm now going to be told something like this in the
Hmm.
experience, right? And so
Like dang.
it was a major, major,
That's
traumatic
that's
thing. And it didn't end with that either. As soon as I got back from there, I didn't even have a chance to integrate what had just happened, and I was abducted. It's just
hmm.
so boom,
I
boom,
said, come
boom,
here. Nah.
boom. Yeah. I mean, does it ever happen with you where you're like literally shifting from the top of the night to the bottom of the morning?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's my problem. That's one of my biggest problems with having out of body. That's why I try not to. Like, I know people, I don't like to say it, but people like to have them a lot. Like, I try not to have them a lot
Yeah.
because when I have them, like, say if I have them every day throughout the week, I'm
Yeah.
gonna be having multiple ones every day because I have this thing where I can't help it. Like, I'm trying to learn how to get better at it. But when I leave my body and I experience something, when I come back, I will go right back out
Mm.
because I be wanting to go back. I be just like, man, I don't want to. Let me just go back, and I go back. like multiple times, and then I forget one of the experiences, or it's like fragment. It's like it's there,
Yeah.
and something has to trigger that thought to make me remember that like
Yeah, yeah.
experience. But
Well, that's good. But a lot of people don't quite realize that. I mean, because they're so gung ho for the OBE that they don't realize you actually have to process that when you get back.
yeah,
It's not like when you get back, it's done.
mm-mm.
Now you have to process
To
everything
download all
from
that
that experience,
information.
and not just process it. There's a really interesting thing that happens in an awakening, and that once we become aware of something, we're more responsible for it.
Yeah.
So one of my first lessons, as it were, that I was being taught was, and I would always title it the same: working with and within free will.
Mm.
Something I wasn't really great at, especially as a kid.
Hmm.
I was raised by my
Yeah.
father in a house full of boys, where, in a time frame where it was superior to be male. So in a position where I was always attempting to prove myself.
Yeah. Just fighting. Yeah.
And so, well, I didn't fight, but I played a lot of sports. And
Okay.
and I played the sports with boys, and I, was, it wasn't unlike me to run up from behind somebody and wring them by the neck to bring them down when I was playing football. I didn't realize that was
Yeah.
wrong. you know.
Yeah. He's just being rough.
Yeah, well, I just didn't realize.
That's how my sister used to be. Like, I don't want to play with her no more because she too rough. She'll choke you out while she trying to play. But
Yeah. Well, it took me a long time to learn free will and how to work
hmm.
within free will and what I was being shown, which was my choice of whether I was going to progress positively or negatively, all right, which is something that we learn
Hmm.
in the awakening. And so once you know that we're in a free will system, and the idea of a positively oriented person would be to work within free will and not infringe upon the free will of others.
Yeah.
Once you've learned that, you're now responsible for knowing it.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
now, if you infringe upon somebody else's free will, it can be much more of a ding, right?
Yeah. You're gonna
Uh,
feel it,
and
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 you're
much
gonna feel
quicker.
bad
We can
about it.
manifest experiences where our free will is being invoked upon, right?
Yeah.
To
I
try to
had.
mirror back to us, what we're doing.
Yep. Especially in the dream state, like the lucid dream state.
Hmm.
That's where you be seeing it all. You be like, dang, I did do something kind of messed up. Like, but the experience is teaching, is showing you that. That's why people ask me, like, I had this dream about this and this and that. And I'd be like, that's something you have to figure out
Mm.
because it's something that you know what I'm saying? It's your subconscious. Like when you see a bird, what you think of when you see that bird is different than what I see,
Yeah.
than what I think of. So that bird symbolizes something to you. So you have to just pick, like, okay, what does a bird symbolize to me? What does a snake symbolize to me? A dragon, anything, a dog with one leg, like, you know what I'm saying? Just anything. Like, what does it symbolize to you? And then you'll learn how to decode those dreams.
Yeah.
Those, but they are teaching you something about your physical life, something you might be doing wrong, something you might be doing good. Because, like you said, we have that free will, but we also have these different possibilities that we set up for ourselves as well. So it's like you have the possibilities. Like I can go this way and I could be a doctor, or I can go this way and end up in prison. So it's like which direction you want to take, and then some of them you can't change. Like some of the ways, some of the you
For
can't
a
change
long
it.
time, I had no preference. I was a
Hmm.
very non-judgmental person. I did not come into this lifetime with judgment. I came in
Hmm.
very neutral. I do not judge the positive as being any better than the negative.
Yeah.
I was just as likely, especially when I was younger, to do negative things or, let's say, unbeneficial things that were not beneficial to me necessarily,
Hmm.
than I was to do the ones that were. So I could equally smoke and drink and to do all of that kind of stuff as I could study and go to the gym. I was equally as
Yeah.
good as it both. I didn't judge any of it. I took on a
Yeah.
lot of experience that way through my teens and my 20s, and I'm glad that I did. 'Cause that's
Hmm.
what helped me finally get off the fence and choose or acknowledge my choice, my pre-incarnative choice for the lifetime.
Yeah. I think
So,
it was mine seeing like past lives where I was like terrible. I was a terrible person. And then
yeah.
I seen the qualities that I had in those lives, and I seen the same qualities in me,
Yeah.
that I was like, oh shoot. Like I was seeing me in a more like vicious state. Like I was more of an ignorant person in that state.
Yeah.
but those qualities were still here, like the anger issues and the wanting to fight all the time and the this and that. Like it's like it's there too. It's
And
like
it's a
crazy.
natural process. It's not to be judged.
Yeah.
So when we first come into 3D Earth Life experience, we come in completely veiled,
Hmm.
on the first rung of the rainbow, as it were. So, and we're
Yeah.
having to learn everything from scratch on a dime through direct experience. And
Hmm.
so, with nothing to gauge by. So
Yeah.
you have to, like, I used to question my spiritual teacher about this all of the time. You say you just have to do it and see what happens. And I'm like, no, 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 no. I was a Yanni. No, you got to intellectually figure out what.
Yeah. A lot of
And
people
he's
do
like,
that.
no, you got to push the X button and get the X right. And now I, now I get what he was meaning. But before, even as late as in my 40s, I still didn't get that.
You
No,
like you want to figure it out
meditation.
before you experience it. Let me figure
Right.
out the underlying meaning behind
I was,
all this.
you
Yeah. I
got
think
me.
I
You
I
got
was
it
telling
exactly.
I was telling somebody that in my last live because they was asking all this. I was like, if you trying to have an out of body, don't worry about all the technical stuff right now. Have the out of body. And
Yeah.
when you have the out of body, then you can start saying, okay, what is this? What is that? But right now, your mind, you filling your mind up with your cup is too full. Empty the cup, have the out of body, and then start refilling that cup. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Because what keeps people from having out of body is their mind be too full of everything they doing. The day they mad at this person. What am I gonna do tomorrow? When I get up at 7:30 in the morning, I'm gonna put my work boots on. They think about everything. Like, nope, don't
Yeah.
think about none of that. Just lay down, relax, and have the experience.
Yeah,
But
processing day residue is that whole thing is challenging to get through, and only when
mhm,
somebody's ready to put that down will they proceed further. Until then, it's necessary. It's needed
yeah,
to get to the OBE. That's the thing to realize. So yeah, and
mhm,
there's a lot of paths, right? The bhaktis, the yanis, the rajis, is are all
yeah,
paths into the same thing. So if you're
mhm,
more inclined to meditation, then Raja Yoga will be your path. If you're more inclined to yani, then Atma Vichara, attention directly on attention itself, will be the path rather than an external object. You don't need it. Or
yeah,
bhakti, the path of the heart, love and devotion, for those who are so inclined. Wonderful
mhm,
for religious minded people who have spiritual concepts that they're already working with. Yeah,
yeah.
so many
That's pretty
ways
dope.
in,
Yeah.
many
A lot
ways
of people
in.
don't know that. They don't realize that. There's many ways in.
Mm,
Even with the tech, like even with how you have the experience. So many people think you just have to be in sleep paralysis to have an out of body, but you have a conscious shift. Like you a shift sometimes. Sometimes you don't know. Like I mean, I say you don't, but a lot of people don't know. Like you can be sitting in your room and close your eyes for 2 seconds and shift right out your body.
mm,
And I
phase
don't.
shift.
Yeah, I wish I can do that on purpose. Just be like. But sometimes it just happens and you don't know exactly why it happens, but it just happens.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, all of the time it's like that. Even when we
mm,
think that it's happening because we've done this, and this.
yeah, it's just happening.
It happens when it's ready. It happens when our central nervous system is ready, when our consciousness, mind, energy, body
Mm,
system is ready.
yeah.
And that can be in any moment, sure. So you have a
Mm.
favorite kind of thing to experience when you're out there?
To be mine's is quite it's not as like some people might be like I like going into the heavenly realms and stuff. It's this place that I go that's like a big old house and it got a bunch of rooms and a pool in the back and I love going to that house. I don't go a lot, but I like going to that house. But I like it's just the dopest house. It got like all kind of stuff in their games and it be like family oriented. Like
Yeah.
it's a dope house, but I like going there.
So
It
you
seems
feel at home
simple.
there.
Yeah. It
Yeah.
feels very homey. Like, but I'll be there just chilling. Like
I like going to that place between here and there.
you talking about like like a void? Like
Well, the void is a location, so not
yeah.
exactly the void, but the threshold between wake and sleep, that threshold,
Oh.
like right there at the threshold. because you can
Hmm.
access the blueprint grid, you can access the portal system, you can experience the portal system through
Yeah.
your central nervous system. Delightful. There's a just
Hmm.
it's chock full of phenomena and experiences right in there. And then, of course, connected with the portal system are is time itself and the time dimensions and how the time dimensions intersect with spatial dimensions and how all of that works. So, like right
Yeah.
there on that threshold, you're just an open window. You're not
Hmm.
here, you're not there. You're sort of everything all at once, or as much of that as you can perceive.
Yeah.
And
That's pretty dope.
you get like a instruction on things. You can begin to be aware of dialogue between you and the other dimensions, and come in
Hmm.
on what that dialogue is, where your curiosities are, what questions you're asking that you have no idea you're even asking. you know,
Yeah.
that's where,
Yeah.
yeah, that's sort of where I like to go the most. But there are places that I found that I would, end up at. I never directed my OBEs. My greater being would merge with me. That would result in the OBE. This was a tangible experience. It would bring me to
Yeah.
what it did. But there are places that it would bring me repeatedly. And one of them was to this house in London
Mm.
that was specifically for people who are awakening and beginning to go out of body and to wake latent tendencies, or not tendencies, latent capacities within themselves. I picked up one with quartz crystal that, I brought
Yeah.
here. And yeah, so, and you could do anything that you wanted. I used to love to levitate. So I
Hmm.
would go there and I would, levitate and
Yeah. Flying is one of my things. I love flying, but
I never got as much into that as I did running at lightning speeds.
yeah.
That feels so good through the body. Superpowers. So that was like on my list of things to ask you too. What kind of superpowers did you
Yeah.
find you had in the OBE?
Oh, a lot. Like you can, because you can pretty much do anything that you can think of.
Yeah.
If you can think of a sword being in your hand, a sword will pop up in your hand.
Mm.
Anything like, but mine was like levitating, flying. Um, I had some lights come out my hand one time. That was only one time though, but I was like, how did I do that? I was just trying to defend myself and put my hands up like this. Next, you know, light just flashed out my hand. I was like, what the hell was that? Like,
Yeah.
but yeah, that was pretty dope. But the most exciting thing for me when it comes to out of bodies is the thought when because I don't set intentions on going places.
Yeah.
So when I'm having the experience, my what excites me the most is like, what am I about to see? It don't even be because I know what I'm about to see. It's just be like, what am I about to see? Because you never know. You'll come at your body and be like, what is this? This
Mm-hmm.
is crazy. Like
I
it's
get you.
four moons in the sky, three suns. It's a, you know, it's like, what is this? Like,
Uh-huh. My thing was
yeah,
the
you experience
shift.
some pretty dope stuff.
So I would be shifted in like a whole bunch of different ways, and I was just like that. I would always be opening to,
Mm,
oh, okay, how am I going to get to shift this time? What kind of shift am I going to be shown now? There's like
yeah.
what you said, the phase shift where you're here and then the next second you're there. Super hard to catch in the conscious state of attention.
Hmm.
But certainly a possibility. We could dematerialize
Yeah.
from an environment and materialize elsewhere. There were some funny ones. My greater being, I would perceive this huge Titan-sized male pick me up by what would perceptually be the back belt loop of my pant and literally pick me up like a little tiny thing,
Yeah.
put me in another scene, and just all kinds of, I would go into like
Yeah.
a void situation and from void could feel that there were people like picking me up and like like
Mm,
manually relocating me
yeah.
into a scene, and then they would all vacate and the visuals would come on and I would find myself where I was. So like there was just like an endless stream of ways that you could shift from one place to another place,
Yeah.
or one vibration to another, or
Every
one.
time oh, my fault. My
No, no,
sorry.
no, no, no. Go ahead.
Every
Go ahead.
time I used to go to every time I used to end up in like the void, I would always end up going through a portal. Like I would be there. I ain't gonna lie, the void used to creep me out. Like all that darkness around me, and it felt like you're just being watched and you can't see. Like it's like what is around me, and it used to freak me out when I was younger. But I would do like the Robert Monroe rubber band effect in my mind, and I would do that little make it seem like it's popping, and then I'll just go, and then I'll go straight through a portal, and then I'll end up in another realm. Like I went to a world that was like it was nothing. Well, I don't know if it was nothing but twins, but all I seen was twins, everybody had a twin, and I was like, this is strange.
Fascinating.
But to get into that planet, it was like water. It was like an ocean over it. Like because I went through it and I was in the ocean. Now I'm seeing like these like look like a big sperm whale. You know, like the not it wasn't a sperm whale, but I'm just saying that in a reference. I don't know what this thing was, but it was
Mhm,
huge. And when
mhm.
I got in there, I was looking at it and I was like, I got to get out of here. So I started trying to do the rubber band effect again. And it's like I started doing this boom, 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 boom. And then I just went whoosh, and shot through onto that Earth like planet. And I was like, oh, this is pretty dope. Chilled with an old dude for a cool minute. And and I started going. I went to a park, and these two girls like was walking me around, showing me stuff. They was twins, and I was like, Why do everybody look like twins?" She was like, "Everybody has a twin here, like this and that." I'm like, "This is strange. This is pretty
Interesting,
strange."
though. Interesting. I have two
Yeah.
questions. One, did you ever get stuck anywhere? And two, did you ever end up in, I had no other name for this, so I just called it voids of different colors.
You said voids of different colors.
Yeah, like a
Like you
purple
talking about?
void or yeah, something
I've
other
been in
than
a
black.
white, like a void that was just straight white light. I've been in a realm that was formless. It was like, but it was beings. Like I knew it was like beings around. They was just formless and they moved. You could see them, but it was like translucent, like type of beings. But it was like sunny. It looked different. It was like, yeah,
Mm,
it was really really different.
yeah,
What was that first question you asked me though?
that's a much higher level. That's all of the mental field, or in the way that
Hmm.
I delineate things. Did you ever get stuck
Yeah.
somewhere where you literally could, you know, you're OBA, you are out of body,
Hmm.
and you can't get out of the experience that you're in?
The one where I went through the light. At least I felt like I was stuck, but I wasn't. But I felt I might have been. I might have been on that couch about to be in an ambulance or something. But but I thought I was stuck because. But the thing is like every time I would try to wake up, somebody would be like, "It's okay," and they would like be trying to stop me, and I'm like, "No, I need to wake up." But then I would lose all my memory of here.
Mhm.
Like I couldn't have told you who I was here. It was like all my memories was gone. But it would come back in a split second and I was like, hold up, I'm asleep on the couch right now. I need to wake up. But then they would come back. It's
Yeah.
okay. You good. Woo, woo. But yeah, in that experience I thought I was
So
stuck.
you were in an OBE, but you were losing and gaining your conscious status
Yeah.
of it. I've gone into experiences where I was perceptually in another world for months and
Hmm.
a handful of times, years.
Yep.
And I was conscious of the fact that I was a person called Casey Clare in an earth life reality somewhere else the whole
Yeah.
time. The whole
That's good
time.
that you retained that because it's so hard for me to retain that because I had whole life experiences
Yeah.
and I could not when I came back. It's like I had to had to tell myself like, hold up, you ain't. That was just an out of body experience.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, what is this like right here? Like what am I experiencing right now?
Yeah.
Like it's.
And you know, you can't retain the information or what happened in that whole
Hmm.
period of time, you know, when you're shifting back. But if my greater being would hit that shift back into 3D physical space just right, it's
Hmm.
literally like shifting, you know, from being at work to being back at your house. It's that
Yeah.
seamless with the full memory of it having happened intact. It's not like when you hit the beta brainwave frequency when you're shifting back from an OBE and it's just too tiny to hold, and it's more like you're just waking up from a dream. You know?
Hmm.
Uh, so yeah, there's
Yeah.
hitting that shift just right. That's this. You see, this is why the shift was always fascinating to me. Everything that was
Hmm.
important, I found to be in the shift itself. The ways
Yeah.
to shift, how to hit the frequency waves just right in order to accomplish certain things, uh,
Yeah.
things like
Even
that.
if you wake up, if somebody wake you up too fast, you're gonna forget because they shocking you. It's like as soon as you wake up, that's why I tell do not shock me by wake. Don't try to shock me to wake me up.
Yeah.
For one, I don't know. I might think I'm in an out of body and hop up and be putting the paws on. You trying to attack me? No.
Right. You might not realize you're not in the etheric, where you maybe
Hmm.
process things like that. Now, you
Yeah.
processed a lot of confrontation in the etheric frequency bandwidth. Tell me about that.
Yeah. Talking about like fighting and stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
But most of the time I didn't have to really like physically fight. It was mostly energy, pushing stuff away.
Hmm.
But that's when it came like it's you know about the lower vibrational like realms and stuff where people might when they pass away they tend to go because they haven't got over whatever they might have dealt with on this physical realm. So they
Hmm.
end up going there and they be in this low vibration. And it's these other ones. I don't know if they I think there are other people that passed away, but they are sitting really low. It's like they comfortable where they at. And they
Hmm.
try to control the other ones. So they'll try to stop you from helping the other ones.
Sure.
I'm trying.
They're positive and negative, or we choose our
Yeah.
orientation here in 3D, but we perfect it 4, 5,
Hmm.
60. Yeah.
Yeah.
And in those between spaces. Yeah, all
Yeah.
of that's there. I find it fascinating that you were open and willing to process that data, that truth.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah. That
within
that was.
yourself. And exactly how you did it. That's what I would be, more riveted on it. How were you actually able to accomplish that? Like, how did it progress from when you were a child to now? And,
Mhm.
you look like you're 20 years old. I know that you're a little bit older than that because you told us
Yeah.
on one of your videos.
38.
30
38 years
blows my
old.
mind. You still have the baby face and perfect skin. Um,
I
yeah,
appreciate
but
it.
how
Nah.
did it progress? How did you process the reality of that?
At
You know?
first, I didn't know what I was experiencing. I was thinking like, why am I in this low? Like it seemed like a realm like this,
Yeah.
like almost mirrored, but it's a little bit more chaotic. But it's not like that in every place where people is at that's passed on.
Mhm,
It's a little better in some places, but
mhm.
I started realizing it when I started seeing people that I knew, like friends that had passed away there, and I try to get them out. Like I'll be like, hey, you ain't got to be in here, right? And some of them was so lost in their minds that they was like, I like it here. It's cool because they got addicted to chaos. They got addicted to seeing all the craziness in the world. So I'm cool here, and I'm like, okay, I guess. But then
Mhm.
there's other ones. I'm like, man, you gotta get up out of here. Had to show a couple like you got the power to get up out of here, and I showed them how to do some stuff, and they did it. I don't know if they got out of there, but I ain't seen them again. So hopefully they got up out of there.
So part of your process was through retrieval work. So that's
Yeah,
fascinating. Yeah. I
yeah,
have
trying to help.
only a little bit of experience with retrieval work. Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. That's like it can be scary, like
Mm.
in some of them places because if you're not mentally ready to be in those low because it's a low like the vibration is low, it's dense.
Right.
So if you go down there and you don't keep your same awareness and understand who you are, your vibrations end up getting low from
Yes.
being there. You
Yes.
know what I'm
And
saying?
then when
So
that happens, what do you have to do to process through back to where you're more aware of what you're there to do and that you're there to help? So do
a
you
lot of
have to
times you're
get
gonna
in
end
I'm
a
sorry.
lot of times you're gonna end up getting some type of assistance to get up out of there.
Okay, good. So the
Sometimes
assistance
you
comes to you.
yeah,
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 before any kind
something
of
gonna help you
yeah,
because
fisticuffs
your
comes.
energy is too low.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like, hold up, we gotta get him. Look, we let him try, but we gotta get him. Like, get him up out of there. He tried his best.
Yeah, good, good. So in
But
what
yeah,
situations would you be more apt to start a fight with somebody?
you say that again. It skipped a
And
little bit.
in what kind of situation would you find yourself to be more apt to fight somebody? Like my own situation was
When
me
they
coming across another Casey, and that got me riled up
mhm.
for some reason.
usually usually all my altercations when they're out of body is when they came to me because a lot of times I didn't know how to blend in. I didn't know how I looked. So
Mm,
when you in these out of bodies, sometimes you just look like light and you don't know it. But everybody else around you, that's these beings or the entities, whatever, they
mhm.
know how you look. You don't know how you look. So I'm
Yeah.
just attracting people to me, and I'm not knowing why, and it's making me uncomfortable. Like why is people keep coming to me? A
Mhm.
lot of times they would just come and just grab my arms or something, or just touch me and just hold me. And I'll be like, "Let me go," and I'll be trying to let me like tell them to let me go, and they wouldn't let me go. So I end up just fighting, like get up off me, pushing them, throwing them in
Okay.
the air, like.
Okay, so
but
it's a
that
boundary
probably wasn't
issue
the.
that gets you riled.
Yeah, I don't let them get too close. I don't let them
So
get stand behind me and be playing.
how
Like,
have you worked with that? Have you been able to let go of your boundaries in order to
yeah, I
be
actually
more?
haven't had really many negative experiences lately. Like for years, I haven't really had too many negative experience where I fought because I understand I don't have to no more.
Yeah,
So I had to get to that point where I realized I didn't really have to fight. I really can just say, "Hey, get away from me."
yeah,
Like I can talk to them, and I know they don't because when you have that when you show your authority, they know your authority. If that
mhm,
makes you know what I mean? Like they
mhm,
know, like, oh, he talking to me like he know I'm not gonna do nothing that's gonna get me because they really afraid of you. Like when you see some of these negative beings or something, if they see you know who you are, if you know
yeah,
what you can do, they're gonna tread light with you. They ain't gonna.
yeah,
They might try to manipulate you and be like, yeah, as soon as you ask them some questions, they're gonna get a little frustrated
yeah.
and they're gonna be like,
But we don't always in the experiences, right? And so,
hmm
yeah, I've been attacked multiple times.
yeah,
I've attempted myself to beat the crap out of myself. Um, I've, um, yeah, I've been sexually assaulted. All of these things
hmm
happen.
yeah,
All of these things can happen, and do happen.
hmm
And we have to process it. Now, how did that happen? How was I able to not get myself out of that situation?
yeah,
And
yeah.
exactly how would I the next time? You know what happens with me? This is an interesting thing. I came into this life sort of with a handful of things that I knew, and one of those
hmm
things was to not say no.
Yeah, to not say no. Yeah, you
Have
was
a, have
just
a
say
yes.
yes.
Have a yes consciousness.
I
Okay,
used to
well,
be like
that
that when I
can
was
get you
younger.
into trouble, you know? Yes.
Yeah.
Do you want to do this? Yes.
But that's another thing. That's why I tell people don't trust everything they see, like every being they see. Have a conversation, but don't trust every being you see in an out of body experience because you'll be inviting something that's not.
Yeah,
If your intuition is not on point, and
yeah,
your discernment is not on point, you'll be thinking you're seeing a being of light, and
yeah.
it's not a being of light. It's just basically just trying to manipulate you in some type of way.
Yes, just
But
because we're out of body does not mean we're enlightened in that experience. Very far from it. We
yeah,
are still our conscious persona in
hmm
there learning
yeah,
what we can, to evolve and
yeah.
grow ourselves. Yeah, I'm not sure how I got to the point where those. Mm, well, yes, I am. It's not that those experiences ever stop. There's always more processing that needs to happen. However, we don't necessarily need to have that at the front of our attention always as we
Yeah.
evolve our experiences. New things will become important to us. New things will begin to, get our curiosity more. And those are the things that we're more apt to bring back from our experiences. It's not like the other didn't happen when we're out there. We just chose to not bring that back. This was more important. This was more
Yeah.
interesting to me. This is where my curiosity lies at present. This is where I have questions. So, yeah, do you
hmm
find that too?
There was times where I seen when I was younger and I seen something that looked negative that didn't come towards me, but I realized how much like I was the ignorant one in the experience
Mm,
because I seen it walking down the street, and when I seen it, I said, "Oh, you think you slick?" I felt like he was trying to scare me, so I ran up to him. I
mm.
ran over to him real fast and slapped him in the face. Like, whoosh.
Oh,
He looked like a big old, like he was red, had these horns. He was big. He was just walking down the street slow motion. And I'm like, what is he doing? And I could see these little things just running across real fast, laughing like, hee. And I'm like, but I
yeah,
wasn't afraid. And so I just ran up to him and slapped him like, whoosh. And when I slapped him, he looked at me like, is you crazy? And I ran back up to him and slapped him again. Like, whoosh. He was just sitting there like, after that, I realized, okay, he feel powerless right now because he understand I'm not afraid of him. Because he was just sitting there like, I don't know what to do now. Like I tried to scare him, but he just took it as a joke. Because sometimes you got to take it as a joke. Like you,
yeah.
sometimes, not all the time. So
Well, those horned beings, those I know that they look like what we like to envision
As a
as devils
yeah.
and stuff like that. But they're archaic. They're ancient. There are,
Mm,
down at the very core, so far beyond where we are consciousness wise,
yeah.
and a lot of times our drainers. They're helping
Mm,
us in these experiences to
ah,
evolve past our perceived fears. And
yeah.
so if this envisionment is falls within the category of what might be fearful to you, it will present in order to help us get
Yeah.
beyond that. I had an experience one time. I have this capacity because I can hold myself in the shift to be in what I call synchronous states, which is what science would call quantum location. So I
Hmm.
can be in many locations, experiencing many different things all at the same time.
Yeah.
And so I was in this shift, and in the shift I was in an environment comes up, and it looks to be a few hundred years in the past. It has a very a religious feel to it, although it's a personal estate that I've arrived in. But there are in this room pews that are set up, and people sat upon the pews, and there was a speaker up front, yet coming through from behind him, much deeper than the character that was in the scene itself,
Yeah.
was this horned being. And he called me by the name of Lupus,
Hmm.
which means wolf.
Yeah.
The wolf beings show up a lot in my experiences. The
That's
lupine
pretty
being,
dope.
but he called me lupus, and but I think that also is related to the illness that we call lupus as well. And he
Yeah.
he's simply telling me to fear not.
Hmm.
And I can feel that he is absolutely nothing to be feared. So it's a matter of
Yeah.
whether I'm going to go into fear over this. There was a movie that came out probably about the time you were being born, maybe a decade earlier, I can't remember, but it was called Legend.
Legend. I heard that. I might know what you're talking about. I'm not sure.
The entity in that, he looked just like that.
Hmm.
So like you said, kind of reddish,
Like
and the
the big old.
huge horns. Yeah.
Yeah.
Here's an observation. I'm really great at observation, if nothing else, right? I observed that, and my experience, let me say, is a little bit different from you. I did have full dream state awareness since childhood.
Hmm.
However, my conscious shifts into the out of body state, I had upwards of 1,000 of them in a 4-year period of time between 2009 and 2014. I would notice that the more fearful type of experiences, the ones that gave my central nervous system the largest difficulties, happened at the top of the night between 11 and 2 a.m.
Yeah.
After that, between 2 and 5 or 6, this is the really pleasant thing. This is visiting with spirit helpers, learning all kinds of things,
Hmm.
yada, yada, yada. And in the morning, 6 to whatever time you wake up, if you wake up right there briefly, to go back into a practice, you can have an experience very easily at
Yeah.
that time of the morning. Those also just freaking riveting, right? Because you're going to have that
Hmm.
conscious shift, and you're going to see things like you've never seen before.
Yeah.
And so the more, sort of fantastical of the experiences, or I want to say the experiences that I
Otherworldly
like the
type.
most are the ones that impacted me the most, whether in a
Yeah.
shocking way or not. So the more shocking, the more impactful on my system, the more I dig it because I remember it.
Yeah.
And there's usually
Yeah.
something in there that's intriguing to me, such as one time I was passing through the etheric frequency bandwidth after such an experience one morning, and I noticed that in the etheric frequency version of my room, there's electronic spiders crawling all over the ceiling.
Yeah.
I'm like, what the
Yeah.
And so I get back into physical space, and I'm like, what was that?
Like, why is there little spiders running around my house?
Huge electronical spider. There were all different
Yeah.
sizes, but they were fairly large,
I seen
a
some big
basketball size
spiders.
one.
I seen some big spiders like the size of cars, like in an out of body one time. Freaked me out. But they wasn't close
Yeah.
to me. They was just walking at a distance, and I was trying to get away from them because I was like, what the heck? Oh, heck no, I don't want no problems with that. But they started
Yeah.
talking to me.
Now make
They
them
were speaking to
electrical.
me.
Yeah, make them AI, make them metal spiders.
Yeah, they go mess you up. But they
Yeah.
was talking to me in a positive way. Like I can't remember exactly what they were saying, but I know I woke up and I was like, I was being talked to positively by some big old spiders. Like what was like I should have retained it. And it makes me mad that I didn't retain it. Cause I
Yeah.
was like, I should have. But
But
I be
that's
having
okay
weird.
that you brought back spider because now you can go do a search on, the symbolic meaning of spiders and see if anything connects with you. And,
Yeah.
and then you can also use it because if in future days you also intersect with spiders again, it can become a pattern that you
Yeah.
then take more
I
interest
remember
in.
I remember this one experience I had where I went outside. When I came out my body, I ran outside. And this is when I was younger. That's why I be telling people like sometimes you'll get scared of stuff that you shouldn't be scared of. I
Mm,
walked outside and it was like a normal day. It was like nighttime though. It was nighttime when I looked to the side. On the side of the roof, it was a bunch of owls. And they was just looking at me, white owls, and they was looking at me. And when I
mm,
moved their head towards me, like they just followed me. Freaked me out. Like was freaking me the heck out. As soon as I started getting freaked out, they flew off. But when they flew off, it looked like angel wings. And
mm.
when I flew off, I was like, but I wasn't scared no more when I seen that. I was like, what the heck? Like, so that was they left probably because I was terrified because I was like, why is these owls looking at me?
Yeah.
Like, but
The snowy owl used to visit me a lot and experiences as well too. But let me just say, you know what the owl is often indicative of?
what's that?
Contact.
Contact?
Yeah, extraterrestrials often appear as
Oh,
that.
for real?
Yeah,
Extra?
yeah, that's a thing.
I didn't know that. You
Yeah.
just taught me something new. I was like, what
Yeah,
they looking at me for? Get off the
yeah.
roof. Go give me a broom and start. Get off the roof. No.
It's hard, people, yeah, they cannot realize not having the experience is that when you go into these expanded states, you don't experience yourself as separated, you know, from people, beings, entities as you do here in 3D physical space. You know,
Yeah.
you feel, or at least I did in my experiences, I felt the penetration of our fields. I felt it from the withinness of myself. It can feel
Yeah.
invasive. It takes some time to get used to that level of beingness, and how you're going to
Yeah.
experience yourself here and get used to the
Hmm.
fact that fields naturally penetrate in these expanded states.
Yep. It taught me that even in this physical, like, because I have problems. Like, I don't know if it's because of me having out of body at such a young age, but
Mm,
I don't like being in crowded areas because I feel like
yeah.
having the out of bodies made me understand that even in this reality, like when we walking around each other, our energies is intertwined and like we're merging. And you feeling what this person's going through. You feel it. You like, why is my anxiety doing what it's like? Why am I having this anxiety right now? Somebody over
Mhm.
there is mad about this. Somebody happy. Somebody this. It's like too much overstimulation. And it's like,
Yeah.
I gotta get up out of here.
Yeah,
But
same here. Same here. Yeah, I've always been solitary.
yeah,
For
because
that reason and more. Yeah.
yeah, because
Mm,
even in the out of body, like sometimes the feeling of feeling everything around you is what scares you. Like when you first having the out of bodies and you have that feeling where I can feel what's behind me, I can see what's behind me on the side of me, here. You feel vulnerable in the fact that
yeah.
it feels so real that you like, oh my God, I'm somewhere and I'm not where I was.
Mhm.
What's in here? I hope it's not a ghost in here. This is your like people for the beginning stages because they be like, I don't want nothing to come up on me. Like I don't want to see nothing. I just want to have the experience and come back.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, and that's okay. And some people can get that on, and that might inform
mm,
them, for a period of time. But
that's how mine was for the longest.
in
Nobody
order
was in it.
in order to make the gradient leap from the third grade, where we are here in Earth life,
Hmm.
all right, the third dimension into the fourth dimension, you mm, you've got to get past that.
Yep. You
You,
have
you,
to. You have
you
to turn
have
that fear into some courage.
it literally is the going out beyond of where you are right now. And of course, there's going to be stuff there that you're not used to, in
Yeah.
ways of being and experiencing. And again, that way in which your fields are very tangibly to you overlapped, and that information
Hmm.
and energetic experiences coming to you, more directly, not to you from the outside through space, but from a level of right there within you.
Yeah.
It's that takes some acclimating to. Again, it's going to send the central nervous system into shock, and you're going to have to process that in a way that's beneficial to you and hopefully others.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's the
You
work.
experience a lot with out of bodies. Like a lot of people think it's like this. When you come out, you're just gonna experience like one type of thing, like certain thing. Like no, I've experienced lives where, like, imagine being. I was 19 years old, experiencing lives of me being married with kids
Mm,
and experiencing emotions, heartbreak, like all this stuff at that age, and I didn't have that at that. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, you
yeah.
come back and have the information of somebody who had a whole family, and then you try to tell somebody some advice, and they're like, "You ain't got no damn kid. Why you telling me?" You're like, "Well, I did before."
And I'm aware that I did. Yeah, what you're
Yeah,
consciously aware of, you experience. And what you
yeah.
experience, you have to process. Yeah. And so processing all of
Hmm.
that takes some doing. And I thank you for what you've processed, for your work and for your service, which I know is ongoing and will go a long ways more before you've completed this life experience.
Yeah.
Same here.
Same here. I like the way you say that. That's how you say same here.
So much more to do. So, let's go on to something. So, experiences, the experiences that have been more common to your OBEs, if you were going to state them, what would they be?
Most common. I be seeing stuff that I know nothing about. Like I'll be like now I seem like I go to these it's like I'll be in how do I explain it? Cause it's this place. I don't know if you've seen that live I was talking about. That I went to this place where when I came back, it's like the words that I was saying didn't make any sense no more. Like
Mm,
like the like how because I used to be like deep like when I used to have out of body when I started researching, I used to be trying to make okay, this is what this is called, this is what this is called, this is what this is called. But then when I went to that place and I came back, like when I was there, it was like all that was just wiped away from me. And it
mm,
was like, you're worried about the wrong things. It's like that doesn't matter. And then it's like when I came back, I'm like, dang, I would try to explain it to somebody
yeah,
and then I'd be like, they don't feel right saying it like this.
yeah.
That's why I say it so. I try to explain my experiences so like how do I explain it like really understandable if to make it like
It's how
for
you processed it and what you came up with, and the words that
yeah,
make sense to you as you experienced what it is that you did. Yeah, it
yeah.
won't ever sound right to take on, the concepts that other people have brought through, although you may include them. Yeah,
I still do sometimes though because people understand it like so.
but you'll
I
develop your own as well. You'll develop your own
yeah.
language. Yeah, which you are, and not will, you are.
Hmm.
Yeah. The profound thing happened with me when I first started going out consciously. And that is,
Mm-mm.
humble, I'm not a humble sort normally.
Yeah,
I, because I have no filters.
yeah. I barely got one
And I
myself.
can be very direct. I don't mean to be mean in that, but I'm very
Hmm.
direct and without a lot of boundaries that a lot of other people have. And
Yeah.
I was humbled. I was humbled to my core. And
Hmm.
also, I could not use my thinking mind, I would say my memory, in the way that I had used to. Like the way that I used to live my life, I would just, oh, I can't find my keys. Where'd I put my keys? And I would think back to where I was last and, try to go through a process. Couldn't do that
Yeah.
anymore. So, like you said, I would get back from my experiences and I could not access them in that way anymore. So
Yeah.
I had to use a new part of me, and that new part of me I would call present awareness. And so and
Hmm.
I was very accustomed to sitting in present awareness as a meditator. So this did come easy to me. However, the speaking part didn't,
Yeah.
because I was one to practice mona, silence. I
Mm.
wasn't the talker.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not very social. I, like you, don't like being in crowds,
Yeah.
So yeah, that was hard. So my group, YouTube had just started.
Hmm.
Yeah. And I had found out about it. And I was motivated to just get in front of the camera and start talking.
Yeah.
Super funny, those first videos. I was so, yeah, I was this big old face, my face was like
Yeah.
most of
I
the
wish I could find some of my old videos. That probably crack everybody up.
had no idea what to say. So they
Yeah.
literally made me push the go button and just start talking.
That's how I do now. It be times I come in here, I don't know what I'm gonna talk about, and I just be like, you know what, just press record, and
Yeah.
then I just talk.
Yeah, but you're
But
good at it.
I don't think I explained because it's been hard to explain.
I suck.
explain. I think I don't. I haven't explained that place that I've been to, and I know I'm surprised nobody ever asked me when I be talking about that experience. They'd be like, "Well, what is it? Well, where was you at? How did it look? And this and that."
Yeah.
Because it was so different. It was almost like being in. It was like blue. It was like these. It was like I thought I was flowing through clouds at first.
Yeah.
Like I thought I was flowing through clouds, and then it almost looked like I was in a void. Then it was like I was in this place where it was like this pulsating, like blue light, and I could see these like tunnels, like these what looked like portals all around, and it's like you could see the light going zoom like through the portals out.
You know what I would say about that?
What's
I
that?
would say you are in the shift itself. So, like,
Yeah.
that's exactly how I would explain being in a certain frequency bandwidth of the shift itself. Very deep one,
Hmm.
out beyond universal space, even.
Yeah.
It's almost unwordable, but we will perceive it in sort of vague, like ways like this as ephemeral colors,
Yeah.
as maybe shapes of light that come up, maybe a cloud that goes by, or,
And
the
the
sea
feeling of
kind
it,
of
that
area, except for
what you hear.
it is just as, I'm going to say, physically real and experienced as here, only much more thoroughly, you know.
Hmm.
Yeah, but yeah,
It,
people don't really want to hear about
uh, because it could
it.
be scary. Like, luckily, it wasn't scary for me, but it could be scary to some people because it's like the noises I was hearing is
Yeah,
like it's like a bunch of like you hearing like ooh,
yeah.
like it's like floating around like, oh, what the, where am I at? Why am I here? Like, what am I? But then something start talking to you, you can't see it, like
Mhm.
it's just in your head,
Yeah.
like it's just talking to you
Hmm.
in your mind, like, yeah,
Hmm.
this is what this is, but it's like, and sometimes you have those experiences like that, and you wake up with a headache and be like, why I got a headache? Like sometimes you done downloaded too much information. You need to
It's a lot.
relax.
Those
Yeah.
can those experiences that we can hardly word are the ones that contain the most data, the most
Hmm.
frequencies,
Yeah.
the most of what we have to process and
And that's what
work
some
through
people.
our little tiny physical systems. Yeah.
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 And
And
that's
then
what some
again, in
people
a
be
way
like.
that's beneficial. That's
That's
the
why
hard
some people they
part.
be like, I got to download today, but they don't realize that the download you had already got it. You just didn't. You just not processing it.
You
They be
just
like, I
didn't
got this
unpack
download.
it. Yeah.
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 They,
Consciously unpack it. It's
yeah.
unpacked. It's there. It's working through the system. It's being processed.
Yeah. It's
You
getting
know,
processed. You just
However,
unpackaging it.
that may take you, 10, 15, 20, 50 years to
Yeah.
fully process. Experiences I had when I was first going out of body, 2009. So what is it now? 2026. So more than
26.
15 years later, I'm just now understanding. I'm more consciously processing that information.
Yeah.
Such as an experience I had in the very beginning in which I looked down at myself and I was this wizard.
Hmm.
I was like this 9 foot tall, white haired, white bearded wizard in purple robes, hat and all, huge
Yeah.
9 foot staff, and I didn't understand at that point, even just 15 years later, I'm barely grasping the core concept that I was being shown the archetype, or at least one of the archetypes my life is based on, and one of the
Yeah.
archetypes that's working with me in the OBE. And,
Hmm.
that's what helped make the quartz crystal work make more sense to me. I could understand, like, because when you can
Yeah.
work alchemy, in your physical reality, meaning you can work with the elemental realm,
Hmm.
or you've achieved, let's say, the purity of consciousness in which the elemental realm will agree to cooperate with you, work with you in certain ways. And that came to me through quartz crystal. But it helped make more sense. I'm like, oh, I get it, because the wizard is the alchemist. That's
Yeah.
you know. So the fact that I can do that, that knowing that or gleaning that, helps make what I can do here in physical space make more sense to me. But
Yeah.
what I'm able to glean of it is just so tiny. I mean, it's huge to myself,
Hmm.
but it's just still tiny and relative to what can be gleaned within all of this.
Yeah.
Have you ever had your mind just so completely blown you couldn't participate in life for a period of time?
I don't think mine's been blown. Like, well, mine's probably was blown by all the experiences I was, because I went to school. Like, it was like it was a time period where I was going to this like school for like a whole week. Every day I would go back to the same house that was in the middle of this city, and the house set over the ground. And I would go into this house. It was a lady that was the teacher, and she would teach us about like how to operate in the out of body experiences.
Mhm.
And that was the weirdest thing to me, because I'm like, at that time, I'm like still trying to debunk the out of body. Like, this can't be real. Like, and then it's like, I'm having an experience and like teaching me how to operate in the out of body. They
Mhm.
brought us to this gate, and the gate, it was probably like seven different gates. And it was like, when you coming in the out of body, you want to have this pop up zones. It was like a group of us, and I don't know who these people were, but they was like telling us like it's pop up zones if you want to come in. And I feel like they was telling us how to do this within those lower vibration realms, the lower,
Mhm.
so that you don't be recognized. Because when you trying to do some soul retrieval, like try to help somebody,
Yeah.
you can't just go there and grab them and be like, hey, come with me. Ah.
No.
No, you got to have a normal conversation with them just to get their attention at first, and
Mhm.
then you got to try to, I'm talking about, like, raise up their vibration a little bit and tell them like, hey, you want to go somewhere? Hey, you can go higher than it. It's like you got to really,
Mhm.
really play that role as if you're one of them that's there, that's stuck, but
Yeah.
without being stuck. They ain't stuck. Let me just say that they ain't stuck.
No, they're just processing.
Yeah. So I
Yeah,
think my
what they
whole,
are, and bless them for doing that, you know?
yeah,
Yeah.
yep. And a lot of people don't know how to die. Like, religion doesn't teach people how to die.
Mhm.
It teach them like, oh, you're gonna go here, or you're gonna go there. So they die and they be confused. Even if they was a person who was saved and they had felt like
Mhm.
they lived a good life, when they died, when they had that review of their life that they think
Mhm.
God is judging them, which they judging themselves, they
Mhm.
gonna judge themselves. And they're gonna be like, dang, I was mean to my niece, or I was mean to my mama, or I was, dang, I'm not worthy. So the religious beliefs now put you in a lower vibration because you allowed that. You know what I'm saying? It's like,
And
it's
not even
crazy what
just
people don't
that, I
understand.
mean, most aren't even ready to face that in itself, so just immediately cutting themselves off and creating the personal bubble around themselves, where in
Hmm.
which they will just go about what seems to them regular, every day, what they are ready for experience.
You'll
Yeah.
see them playing out like they own like traumas and stuff. Like, you'll
Mhm.
see some people just walking around like zombies, or you'll see some people like actually fighting, playing out something that they did that they can't seem to let go of. And it's like, you got to stop it. Like, hey, chill, like, relax.
A lot of times it's just that they're not ready to realize they're dead.
Yeah.
Just that in
They was
itself.
addicted to this physical life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so they're dead and in the life between life area in this little bubble, rather than having full
Hmm.
access and reign to it and everything that needs to
Yeah.
happen there, before coming back into experience. So yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Then you got them zones where they kind of like in a hospital, them dimensional spaces where they kind of like in a hospital. Now,
Mm,
I'm not too sure of how that dimensional space was created, if it was created through our subconscious for when we passed, to if we had like problems with like alcohol abuse or drug abuse or
mm,
certain things. But some people, when they pass away, they go into this hospital and they kind of be getting assisted by these what look like doctors or nurses or something. So
mhm.
it's that place right there too, and they'll be there for a cool little minute.
And
But
there's places where the negatively oriented are also engaged in their own orientation. And like I've been taken into like bloody hospitals, and places where others are
mm,
being kept prisoner, with no
yeah,
doors on or anything. They have been so diminished. The doors to keep them
mm,
in aren't even necessary anymore. They're just gone.
yeah,
So I've been, taken into some places like that for retrieval.
yep.
Uh,
It can be pretty sad.
Yeah.
Like, dang, they
No,
lost,
it can be
lost.
hard. I've been taken into, oh God, this one. It was inside of a building, which had some kind of a basement level, but it was actually attached to the first level of the building. And from that first level, uh, there's an opening at floor level that has bars that sort of go down into this sub area that was kept full of water, and people were chained in there. Yeah, it's
Mm,
it can be horrible. We're never left in them for longer than we can manage. Uh, you know,
yeah,
to be helpful in some way, to be ourself in some way,
yeah,
which is itself is what helps the people that are there. Yeah, I've been taken into war areas where people are dying, children are dying,
hmm,
and I'm taken in right to the moment that they're actually going to pass, just to get
yeah,
eye contact with them going and to, send the love energy and to let them know it's going to be over in just a minute.
hmm.
Those are
You
sad.
good? Come on.
Those are sad.
Yeah, they can be pretty sad. I done been in
Yeah.
some dark places
It
where
feels
like
good
that.
to be there to help, but yeah.
Yeah,
Hmm.
like I tried to help some people because they was in a room and them room didn't have no doors. They
Yeah.
was like stuck in this room and I'm like, why y'all in here? And they like, we can't get out. And I was like, yeah, you can. And I was like, they was like, you can't. I was like, I'm in it. I said, I'm in an out of body. I can wake up at any time. He was like, no, when you here, you stuck. I closed my eyes,
Hmm.
opened my eyes. I was laying in the bed. I closed them back and I went right back. And I said, yeah, I can wake up. So I started lifting all the rooftops off of these cells. I was lifting them up. And when I started doing that, I heard somebody yelling, talking about the keeper of times is coming. The keeper of time is coming. And I'm like, who the keeper of time is? So I bust away through the door. I look down the hallway. It's like these metal crates on the ground, like the walkway is like metal. And he's walking up. He had like this stick in his hand with it like what looked like a dream catcher, but it wasn't. But it just that's what it reminded me of. He's walking towards me, and I'm like, who the heck is this? When he got close to me, I was like, he was like, what are you doing, Chris? And I was like, oh, he know my name.
Yeah.
And I said, I'm trying to help these people. They think I'm trying to help them. What do he's like, I'm trying to help them. He said, and I was like, while he was talking to me, I was like, man, I know who you are. And he was like, oh, do you? And I said, you the devil. And he said,
Oh,
how did you know? And I said, oh, because I
you
don't
were
even know
just
why I
kidding,
said
and he
that.
was.
He said, how did you know?
I
And I
think he was
said,
having a spot
oh,
of fun back with you.
yeah, he probably was. And then he started, we actually walked and he was talking to me, trying to explain to me why he had these people in these cells. And I was like, I don't want to hear that. And, it's back when I was like, I was real young back then.
Yeah.
So I was deep in my word in the Christian. I don't want to hear none of that. I said, I believe in God. I don't believe in none of that. He stayed calm the whole time. He didn't get loud. He just said, okay. And he said, well, let me introduce you to my hellhounds. And I'm thinking, like, I look back, I see this big old dog house. And I'm like, I see chains on these dogs' necks. Now they big, but I see chains. So I'm like, oh, I'm just run back real far and the chain going burp. Like I start running backwards, like, but I'm looking at them while I'm running backwards and they coming and it's not stopping. And I'm like, why is it not stopping? This is a long chain. It scratched my arm like right here and I could
Mhm.
feel it. And I was like, oh shoot. And I pushed the dogs back with my energy. When I did that, the dude grabbed me by my arm and threw me in the air. He threw me in the air like I was a rag doll.
Yeah.
And I'm flying. He didn't throw me like I was about to crash into no buildings or nothing, but he threw me and I was like gently like flying through the air. Like, did he just throw me?
Mhm.
And I landed on the ground like, oh, he got me messed up. And I pushed him with my energy through the wall. And I ran into the wall after him. Like, come on, let's get it. Like, let's go. And we in there for a minute, we was just pushing energy at each other.
Yeah.
It wasn't like no fight. It was just
No.
us pushing energy towards each other.
Yes.
And
Uh-huh.
I'm doing this. And as I'm doing this, I started getting to the point where I was like, okay, he got some power. Like he kind of strong. And I
Yeah.
was like, let me just go ahead and wake up. But I
Right.
couldn't wake up. So I was like, oh, next you know, an angel came out of nowhere and hit him in the forehead with an arrow. Like shocked the crap out of me because I'm like, where he come from? Had on
Mhm.
all white. And he like, hit him in the forehead, hit the ground. The angel walked up to me and grabbed me, was like, are you okay, Chris? And I was like, yeah. And he
Yeah.
threw me on his back like a kid. And while I'm on his back, we flying up out this place. and it's this big old sun that's like dim, but the clouds is
Mhm.
dark. And as we going up, I'm like, whoo, this is a hell of a place, ain't it? And the angel was like giggled and was like, yeah, it is.
Yeah.
And as I'm flying up, I just start fading out and woke up. I was like, yeah, nah, I don't want to go back to that one. Nah. Yeah.
Wow. Well, a couple things. One, yeah, I learned that in OBEs very early too, that one, I had no tolerance for fear within myself. So when it did present, my tendency was to run straight at the thing that I was afraid of. In the
Hmm.
beginning, that was doors. I was afraid to go through doors.
Yeah.
So after about
It's like,
a
ah,
dozen
just run through it.
experiences, I got tired of being afraid and said, "Screw this," and ran at the door. And it looked like a solid
Mm,
door, and I was
yeah.
conscious, so, like, I didn't know what was gonna happen when I did that. Yeah, but I
Yeah.
just went through, into sort of starry space and then into another environment. But I would do
Hmm.
that with people. And the thing is,
Yeah.
I would just go like nothing but net, right through.
Yeah. Yeah.
Every single time, because I had obliterated the fear at sort of the being level. I never got
Hmm.
to confront exactly or face exactly what my specific fear was.
Yeah.
And that's sort of not traditional to my OBEs. More traditional is to do what I did and what you did, just run right at it. But you
Yeah.
actually got some confrontation there. So I'm going to say that you probably, possibly, potentially were with a negative orientation and your positive orientation, and you were
On full
right at it
battle
with,
mode. It was like being in a boxing match and you like, man, this is going on a little too long. Like, okay,
yeah,
when is this gonna be over with? Let me get up out of here.
yeah. That's the other
Mm,
point. We can sometimes end up in places where we, weren't supposed to go.
hmm. Yeah.
Mhm. You ever get caught by the Astro
That
Police?
they be everywhere. I
Yeah,
mean, like
yeah.
people. I don't like. Somebody just said something about that in one of my comments. I was like, I didn't think everybody else really talked about the Astro
Mhm.
Police, but they be there. Like they there, and it's weird because like in my like when I see them most of the time, they either have on all black
Yeah.
and they just be in random places. Like you might be doing something and they just be like, "What you doing?" You're like, "What the hell?" Like, one time I was in this area after I was talking to these kids and they was telling me they was all saying, "I can't wait till I reincarnate," and I was like, "What? You want to go to Earth?" They was like, "I can't wait," and I was like, "You sure about that?" Like, nah, I don't think you want to come to Earth. Like, ain't nothing but I don't think you want to come here, buddy. Nah, but I'm sitting there and I'm on this jungle gym type thing because we was in this big park and
Mm,
I'm on this jungle gym. There's a bunch of kids. Next, these older looking dudes came over there, and we was just having a normal conversation. And they was talking to me, talking about they watch YouTube videos, and I was like, "Man, get out of here." He was like, "Yeah, we be watching YouTube. It's entertaining." I was like, "Okay." And then one of them jumped on my neck, like jumped on my neck like this. And one of the Astro Police, they had shot him out, not with like no real bullet gun, but I don't know what they shot him off with. But the dude came out of a doorway that wasn't a building. You know what I'm saying? Like you just see a
like a
doorway that just
portal.
open, like a
Okay.
portal. Like he
Uh-huh.
just came out that doorway and said, "Poop," and closed the door. And I'm like, he just shot him off of my neck. Like, what the like what just happened? Like they didn't protected me in some of them situations. I done had people grabbing me and
It
they
can
come over
happen
there
in surprising ways.
and they'd
Yep.
be like, leave him alone. And they'll push him off of me. I'm like, they're like bodyguards. Like, who is these people?
Yeah. When I said I was attacked multiple times, I
Hmm.
that's when I learned to a greater degree that my greater being had merged with me, and I cognized this to a larger degree, and that was what was resulting in the OBE, and
Yeah.
that this uh, larger me, if you will, was driving, and I was allowed to just be this observation point in it, and so that's why I had access to the frequency bandwidths of so many different dimensions
Yeah.
within the experience, but there were multiple times in which somebody was coming at me to attack me. I could see that they had located me, that I was being looked for. I was just located, and that they were like coming in for the kill. And
Yeah.
right before they would, when they got to a certain point, they would all of a sudden look up to this point perceptually above my head and
Hmm.
get this shocking look on their face and hightail it away the other way.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, I'm accompanied in these experiences. You don't always
Hmm.
realize it in every moment. There's moments that we do realize it and feel it, like in the initial shift. I would realize this
Yeah.
this consciousness was enveloping me. This
Mhm.
presence was enveloping me, in that the OBE occurred. But once I got to where I was going, and because I could shift in so many different ways to so many places, and because they put me through this really intensive training program, and because I would often, in the experiences of all this, be put in these voids of different color. I also called them interval spaces.
Yeah.
It's like timeout area.
Mhm.
You know?
Yeah.
It's like a tween space.
Mhm.
But it would look like a void of a color, like it would be chocolate brown, and you could see some golden and pink infusions in there. You definitely felt by yourself, but that it was clear to you that there was someone or something going on outside of this interval area that you had been placed in.
Mhm.
That support system is there with you in these
Yeah.
experiences and will come in where it is appropriate for them to. But when with the astral police, or I don't know if there's a better word for this, they're just guardians, guardians at the gate, let's say, of
Mhm.
places where you can go, places where you can't, places where you're welcome, places where you're not.
Yeah.
And so, like, if you exceed some of that and exceed and go somewhere you're not welcome, yeah,
Yeah.
they'll come up. Their security, they'll approach you, and immediately their security,
Yeah.
and they'll tell you you're somewhere where you're not supposed to be, and to,
I
please
got
go
a net
elsewhere
flying
now.
on my glasses. There's a net just flew my face. Nah, you know what the video. This damn net. Nah. I was sitting there, I see a net just got my glass like this. What is that?
You've got activity going on.
I be eating these fruits. I'm like, I'm gonna stop eating healthy. Nah.
Yeah. Anything to help.
but but that's what those every time I would see them, they would just be standing at their post. Like it was one she would be sitting on this little chair and
Yeah.
she'd just be sitting there. And then there's other ones they would just be sitting at these like doorways. They just stand there. But when something would happen, I would notice they would always come and like stop it. Like, but it'd
Yeah.
be a lot of them. And I was just be like, well, because it'd be some experiences where it seemed like the people was trying to capture me. It's
Yeah.
like they was. I'm like, why are they trying to capture me?
And
Like,
that
that
could
don't
be
make no
for
sense.
That could be
Like,
for various reasons. Yeah, either you've gone somewhere where you're not welcome, and or
hmm
a negative faction has located you while you're out and about, and
yeah,
there's going to be that. All of that is for growth potential. The positive and negative are two sides of the same coin, both being necessary for spin. And so, unless we get our own spin going, we're never going to graduate from where we are. And so, it's
yeah,
all for benefit. If we utilize it that way. But that takes
hmm
practice. We got to learn
yeah,
that, number one, this is for our benefit. Two, grow ourselves into someone stronger. And three, then learn how to utilize that to create more spin, more positive spin within ourselves as we're positive, right?
hmm
Yeah. And then we're
yeah,
allowed to go more places and do more things and have
yeah,
access to, beyond. We can only go, to the point where we're spinning and won't be. As a three-dimensional consciousness, if I spin myself into 5D negative space, I'm in trouble. These things can happen, you know?
hmm
And our support system is there, so it's not like we're not, but it's not perfect.
I think it's because they want you to understand how powerful you really are. They want you to really tap into that and don't let the fear conquer you. Like
Yeah.
conquer the fear by because it been time to be like, man, I need some help. Help me, please, help me. And
Right.
it's experiences that I've had that I don't speak on because I still need to process it. I still need to
Mhm.
understand it more because you can
Yeah.
tell somebody experience that you had and it had a meaning to it, but when you told it, it misled some people because
Mhm.
you didn't process it the correct way. You know what I'm saying?
Well, you hadn't processed it fully yet. It's why in the beginning I didn't talk about my
Hmm
experiences with the negative
Experience.
faction. The negative faction is real. It exists. It
Yeah.
has the right to exist. It's necessary for it to exist. But I didn't talk
hmm
about it in the beginning. I needed to process all of that and see how I was going to spin that in a way that it not only helped myself, but could then help other people. Then I began being more willing to begin discussions on it. But even now, it's not something
Yeah.
that I talk about a lot. If somebody asks, I'm happy to go into it.
Like people be
Yeah.
wanting to hear about my like the realm, like when I be in these like heavenly type realms, and I talk about it, but it's not that exciting to talk about because it's like it was so normal, like and relaxed. It's like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, I was chilling on the grass. The grass was green. The sun was bleeding. Like everybody, it was like unconditional love there. But it's like it was. It's not. It wasn't that. How do I
Yeah.
explain it? Like it wasn't like, oh my god. Like it, at one point, it got to a point where I was there for so long that I was just like, I'm kind of bored a little bit.
Uh-huh.
Like I'm a little bored. Like I
Which
want
is
to go
the
play.
real reason we come back, right?
Yeah, but this was just a level of what unconditional love was in certain places because
Yeah.
there's higher places too that's even better than that.
Sure. It
But in
sounds like you were
some,
in what's called Summerlin.
yeah, because in
Yeah.
some places it's a lot of repetitiveness.
Yeah.
Like it's like repeating, like it's like they just the kids want to play games all day. These like it's like you just see the same thing over and over again. It's like,
Yeah. Yeah.
okay, let me go experience something more sight. But it's
Well, and
good
it's
to
nice. It's
it's good and
fun.
it's peaceful.
Yeah.
Like that's why I say a lot of people don't know if they really want peace until they go to that. If you go to that place, you'll feel like do you really want peace? Because that is a very peaceful place. And if you want to just sit down and look at the water and just chill and bathe in the sun, that's a good place to go.
I like going to
But
the schools. The schools have always
the
been my
schools be pretty
favorite.
dope.
The mystery school sitting right at the center, aim, and objective of all of that. And I
Hmm.
sometimes am able to glean myself into it. It's never for very long.
Yeah.
It's never to my satisfaction, only my ever increasing want
Yeah.
to get fuller in there and begin to learn more of the mysteries while in that state. Yeah,
Hmm.
and and to test myself to
I think.
open myself to a
Sorry.
point where I can bring that back into physical space. Yeah,
Yeah.
riding my conscious waves, So
Hmm. I
yeah.
think a lot of people go to these astro schools or these out of body these schools that's in the out of body states because it is like I'll be going to these schools still to this day, and sometimes I had to get out of the mindset
Mm,
of because I will always reject it because I
mm.
used to be like, why am I in school? I'm already out of school. Like, why am I in school? I'll just walk out the class like what, or walk out of whatever we was doing. Like, I ain't about to do no homework. What the heck is this? Like, I'm in an
Mm.
out of body. Y'all try to make me do some schoolwork. I graduated. I so yeah, I had to get out of that and just start really experiencing it. Like, okay,
Yeah.
but
I've
this,
always loved
yeah,
school. I don't, it didn't mean much to me. And, in
yeah,
the, through the 12th grade and stuff, I never studied. I never took it seriously. I didn't go to my own graduation, homecoming, prom, none of that.
hmm,
I just had a really good memory and I could memorize stuff. And so I memorized what I needed to right before tests so I could pass a
yeah,
test. But, it wasn't anything that I retained. However, the institution of learning itself. I mean, that's where we are right now. That's what
hmm,
being veiled means. You're in what could simply just be called the learning
yeah. We learn it every day.
because we no longer know. We're veiled from knowing, and so we're in the learning. Yeah. And
Hmm.
so, because of that, and because I have some connection with additional lifetimes in which I'm working with books and being a scribe and things like this, it's
Yeah,
all of that is very intriguing and enlightening to me. So, yeah.
yeah,
Well, and just, the veil makes, I mean, once you're aware of the veil and the veil has placed you into the not knowing,
hmm,
the want to know is immediately there. Yeah.
yeah,
And it's what fuels us all. And like the really big thing we want to know is who the heck am I, right?
yeah.
Who is this?
Like, why am I the way I am? Like,
How
I
did
was
it
thinking
get
that.
here? Yeah, how did it get here? What's it doing here? Why'd it come?
Hmm. That was
But
my
then,
biggest thing. Like, why am I even being like, why am I this way? Why am I experiencing this? Why am I seeing this? Who
yeah,
am I? And like I would have, it would be certain times where people would come to me and be telling me like who I am and stuff. Like, you're a warrior, or you this and that. I done had little kids come to me talking about, you're an angel, and I'm like, hmm?
Mm.
Like, why are you calling me an angel? I'm like, you're an angel. I'm like,
I had
okay.
somebody one time
Like,
tell me, "I recognize you. You're one of the very spoiled Elenas." He wasn't happy with me with recognizing who I was, and I'm like, "Oh, that's interesting."
yeah. And
I
it,
wonder who the very special Elenas are, and Elaine is my middle name, and
uh,
Elaine does mean light. So I was
hmm,
like, "Okay, I'm one of the very spoiled lights."
yeah.
Like, what does that mean?
Yeah. And it's other places where you know people and they live in a life. They live in a regular life, but you know them and they know you, and you project there. Like, I've been places and people then walked up on, man, I ain't seen you in forever, and I'm like, probably because I've been out of body, not probably because I don't actually live here. But we kicked it, like, walked all the way to their house, watched TV, ate food, all kind of stuff in an out of body state.
Do you ever
Like,
remember them?
like the people,
Yeah,
I
the
don't like
people
when I
who
seen them. I
recognize
didn't know
you, do you
when
ever recognize them?
it's like you know that inner knowing.
Yeah,
It's like I didn't recognize I didn't know who they were when they walked up on me. I was walking down the street, like, about to do some high jumping and flying and stuff,
yeah.
and they all walked up to me. They was like, Chris, and I'm like, how do they know my name? Like, is my name Chris in every life, or what is this? Like, but they like, man, we ain't seen you in a long time, and this and that. Where you been at? Like, you left? Like, I'm just like, I mean, I just been around, and gave me some deal like, hey, contact me, like, let me, like, hit me up, and I'm like, I'm not gonna be able to do that, and I just put it in my pocket. I didn't even look at it, but we just kicked it,
Yeah.
watched TV. I can't even remember exactly what we was watching, but we was sitting on the couch, just sitting there watching TV, like somebody was cooking in the kitchen, and I'm
In an
like,
OBE, yeah.
in the OBE, and it
And
was
that
called,
might seem like the simplest thing, the most mundane thing, but when you know
mhm,
you're out of body experiencing it,
it's different.
it is different. It's like, whoa.
I'm
And
sitting
then
there looking at everybody like,
when it can get
how
to
do
the
they
point
know?
where you get back here and it's the same way. It's
Hmm.
almost like you no longer belong here, like you no longer belong in the third grade once you graduated, right?
Yeah,
It's just, yeah,
I used
and
to.
the sense of being here can be that way as well.
I told my brother one time, because for a while it didn't even feel like, it felt like I was just living in two different worlds.
Yeah.
Like, it just, like, I go to sleep and I go to the next world, and I wake up and now I'm here. It
Mm,
all felt real to me for a time because I was having them so much
yeah,
every day.
yeah.
And I'm like, I gotta relax.
That's
So,
how it got with me too. I felt like
mm,
when I was here, I was like in a kindergarten,
and you don't feel understood.
in a
You trying to
playroom.
say stuff and people don't understand what you're saying. You're like,
Yeah. Well, even in just in the way it felt and in the way it looked,
oh
you know,
yeah.
because everything is so much more carefully constructed
Hmm.
and
In some
in the
places,
wider frequencies. Yeah.
it's like technology that you never seen before. You like, what is this? Like, some stuff is just technology that looks magical.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's like,
Yeah.
what is that right there? That's just new tech. What?
I love the
Like,
magical realms too, and that's how it starts coming into our experience in ways like this. But when you
hmm,
get to the realm itself, it's that's home. For me, that's my home frequency. I feel
hmm.
I have a black unicorn friend in the magical realms who, I often went into experience with. And yeah, it's just where the elemental realm meets 9D or the angelic frequency. So where the
Mm,
angelic meet the elemental, it creates a realm of itself, which I call the magical realm.
mm.
And yeah, all kinds of, and the magical things are there. Everything that comes through that are in sci-fi fantasy movies is there. Those
Yeah,
those ideas are real there, and it's how they got here. People went out,
yeah,
brought it back. Uh,
yeah.
I was only allowed recognition one time in an experience. It was momentary and it was so impactful that no further recognition has ever been possible because it brought a level of pain within me that was just intolerable. The missing of this being was
Mm,
so profound that I literally couldn't function
yeah.
here for a while. It did reopen my emotional body, which I think was its purpose. I tended to minimize that and maximize the mental field through my life. And so it was beneficial to me to
Hmm.
have that experience. But the being itself was elven.
Yeah.
Hair so jet black it glistened blue. The
Oh, that's pretty
elven,
dope.
the elven ears, olive colored skin. He comes through
Hmm.
the crystal transmissions as the being known as Quinn. Uh, yeah,
Yeah.
and he came through the crystal a lot. But yeah, I was actually taking into an out of body experience, and he was observing it. I was just
Mm.
in a mostly empty apartment, and I was in the kitchen, and the kitchen had a window that looked through to the living room, and in the living room was a large screen TV, and I just saw him in the reflection of the black within the
Oh,
TV.
dang.
Yeah, and it
Is
was.
that how you got into with the crystals, like seeing them in the crystals and stuff?
It's not
Like,
how that happened on its own. So the OBE, the Kundalini awakening, happened in 2009. The Kundalini did its work through my body and took me into the expanded state on a ongoing regular basis until 2014. After that, I had some processing to do.
yeah,
A lot of processing to do because I was having a hard time functioning in our conditional world. The unconditional had begun working itself through my system. It's a large part of my process and what I'm here to
yeah,
do. And so I was really struggling. I didn't want to work for pay anymore. It didn't make sense. It hurt to even think about it. It was a
yeah.
struggle. It was work. I didn't want to have to come up with money to pay rent in Los Angeles at that time, which was just
Ooh-wee.
ridiculous. I'm just a caregiver, so I don't, have a large
Yeah.
income. And so I just wanted to, I felt like I was ready to put it all down. And I literally did.
Mm.
I went out onto the land and began living out of the car.
Oh, dang, you said, forget all this. I feel you.
I
I be
well,
feeling it.
it was an adventure, and I'm always somebody who likes sort of camping out and going into the woods and things like that anyway. So this was
Yeah.
just another adventure. It felt free, and I could
Hmm.
let the unconditional continue to process through me so that I could understand what was happening to me. And
Yeah.
at my own pace and leisure, without being distracted and, having it cut off, which would have caused more pain, you know. And so
Mm.
when I was out there, I'm a medical caregiver, so
Yeah.
medically trained caregiver. And when I was out there, I started seeing all the homeless,
Mm.
and it's interesting because I never even saw them before, not in the way I did once I myself was out there, because it was
Yeah.
24/7 then. They were just 24/7 there. I
Hmm.
realized how many people were living out of their cars in Los
Yeah.
Angeles, parked at every park, on every street, and I learned how to recognize them. And it I just started caregiving for them, treating
Yeah.
exposure wounds and wounds from fights, and feeding and clothing. And I spent
Hmm.
every last dime doing that while I was out there, and
That's good though.
started a project called the 111 Project, where I was trying to bring to other people's attention the problem, the extent that the homeless was getting to be in the Los Angeles area specifically.
Yeah.
And, some people would give to the project, and then I would say, let them know what their funds purchased, like this, clothes to this person. And, I would give pictures, and I wrote papers and articles and all kinds of
Yeah.
stuff like that. And yeah, it's until I had no money left. And then I'm like, well, I can go back to work for PayPal, you know.
I need y'all to help me now. No.
And so when that happened, I intersected with a woman in the Pacific Palisades, and that's where the crystal work began. The
Mm.
whole
And
path.
that's
And so first it was the Kundalini and the out of body, and it still is that. Working with quartz crystal is the same as the out of body experience. It's
yeah.
you're allowing an alteration in your brainwave frequency cycles, just like when you're going out of body. However, while doing this, you're working with the quartz crystal in the way that I
Mm.
do. Yeah.
That middle phase, because I know when you're having an out of body, like I was telling somebody, it's easy to talk or like see your visions become clear when you're in that middle stage. Like you haven't quite all the way left your body, but you're in that mode where you can kind of just you can your thoughts become, I don't know how to explain it, but I know you said it earlier. It's like a middle phase that you're in, and that's is that what you're in when you're doing that with the crystals and stuff, like in
Yeah.
that middle phase, or is it just you
Well, I'm
completely just?
allowing my brainwave frequencies to shift, and I am being in a quantum located state in
Hmm.
so synchronous states. That was my thing, right? I could be here and there. So in the quantum located state, I work with the crystal here in our own local space. And while I'm out there, I'm intersecting with the beings that you see, and I'm simply
Mm,
allowing to transfer through my conscious state of attention through the crystal in a visual format for others to see.
okay,
So sort of
okay.
a long distance. I'm helping people here see what's out there.
Hmm.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
helping make visible the invisible. And this can only happen on a very specific frequency bandwidth of experience where we are near to graduating the 3D. We go through this sort of rainbow bridge, right, through our life experience here, and through each phase or spectrum of the rainbow, we're graduating our space. And right there, where
hmm,
we're near to graduating, we're very near to the etheric frequency bandwidth, which is the bleed over space between here and there, between our planetary level experience and galactic level experience.
yeah,
Yeah, so that's where I'm going, yes. I'm stepping up and out, and they're stepping in and down. We're meeting in
yeah,
that etheric frequency bandwidth. And then I'm simply allowing what I'm being aware of to transfer through the mean of the quartz crystal. Now, were the elemental realm within the crystal not agreeing to cooperate with me, we would not get consensual
yeah,
pictures that everybody, saw. It's relatively the same thing. Yeah.
yeah. That's
Yeah.
pretty dope. That's
Yeah.
pretty dope. That's
Yeah.
a gift. I be feeling like
It was a
with
dormant
my
capacity. You
yeah,
have dormant capacities from other lifetimes you've lived as well that you can
yeah.
transfer here through to this one, through conscious shifts out of body. That's what
I
sort of
used to
allows you to reactivate it. Because when you're conscious and a conscious shift into a wider reality, into an expanded consciousness state, that is processing through your physical body at the same time. As
mm,
it's processing through your physical body, DNA, dormant DNA is reawakened.
yeah.
Dormant
That's why I tell
capacities.
people they got certain gifts that they don't realize. Like you getting a gift from a different version of yourself. Like that gift, that other person might know how to play the piano real good.
Mhm.
If you tap into it, you'll learn that piano really fast, and you'll be like, "How did I just pick that up? I never played." Like you just pick up certain things because you have different versions of yourself that's doing different things. You might be a whole MMA fighter in another version of yourself. Tap into it.
Well,
But I
it taps
always,
into you because it's literally a
yeah,
part of your conscious experience here. Remember when I went out of body, I realized that I could be in multiple ways in the out of body state. One was as point consciousness unembodied, right? You're just a point of
hmm,
observation point looking around the space and traveling to where you are. Second, I could be within the consciousness field of another person.
yeah,
That other person is other lifetimes. I feel my soul is living there. Other me's, not Casey's,
yeah,
but my soul manifested in other bodies, right? So I could
yeah,
be a consciousness point within the consciousness field of those other entities, those other beings, those other manifestations, right? And then I could even be fully embodied as them
hmm,
in the experience, which is really, really out there.
yeah,
That jolts the central nervous system when that happens, or it did on me anyway. So
yeah.
it was a much less frequent of an experience than just simply being a point of consciousness within the consciousness field of that other individual. I can't remember while
Hmm.
I was going there. Do you?
Oh no, you was just explaining that.
We've been talking 2 hours. How you doing?
It's been 2 hours.
It's been 2 hours, Chris.
Dang.
Right?
I don't see the time right now.
We're gonna have
Let
to
me look.
come back and do a round two because we only got halfway through what I wanted to talk about with you.
Oh yeah, we could do it again. We
Yeah,
could do it. We can eventually do it again
yeah, we will.
because we still got more to talk about. No.
So much more happening still, right? Yeah.
Hmm.
Do you have something that you're focusing on right now? For instance, my new fascination as far as things to talk about in these discussions with everybody is there was one phenomena that I experienced in the conscious shift myself, which is breath cessation.
What does it say it again?
I would stop breathing.
Oh, okay.
Okay, and
Yeah.
I would witness the whole process in the conscious shift. You can witness that whole process, yeah, as
Hmm.
well as other phenomena that's in it. But that's sort of my new point of focus as to things I would like to begin to discuss with other people. But is there something that you're focusing on right now?
Not
It's like where is your tension?
mostly,
Where's the laser beam?
mostly within the outer body, because I like, as I talk about, I know I talk to people always about the lower vibrational realms. I'm trying to
Yeah.
learn how to be better at soul retrieval, like
Okay.
helping people. But it is something that I want to say about the. You said that technique. Have you ever tried open eye meditation?
I have always been
It's-
an open eye meditator. So I didn't
okay.
start closed eye meditating until very late in life.
Mm. Okay,
Yeah.
so you already know the everything started looking different. You be like, "What? I didn't know that was a thing."
Yes, it's
Like
called
I
tritak. The
accidentally did it.
practice of that is called tritak.
Chatak.
Conscious gazing. And so you can
Okay.
eye gaze with another person, or you can window gaze looking out of window, or you can light gaze, taking your gaze into, say, a beeswax candle flame.
Yeah.
So all kinds of different gazing practices. Now that's hugely involved in the OBE and hugely involved in what I do through the quartz
Yeah.
crystal.
I didn't know what that was. I did it on accident one time, and I was just sitting there looking at pointing at the wall, like I was just looking at the wall.
Yeah, yeah,
Next year, you know, it started getting that same feeling I would get when I would be about to have an out of body, and I was like, "What the heck? My eyes is open." And I'm like looking at the wall now, it's starting to see. It looked like I went into a different room, but my eyes was open. And I'm
yeah,
like, hold up, what is this? Then I snapped out of it and I was like, hold up, my eyes was open this whole time.
yeah, yeah,
Like,
yeah.
what is this? So I
Uh,
started looking it up and it was like open eye meditation. I said, I might need to look
Now we're
into
into the
this.
fully conscious shift through the field itself.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that was different.
that's exactly what I learned to do prior to the OBE actually. Um,
Yeah.
you can go and I hear you talking about dimension. We'll close up here, but I hear you talking about dimensional spaces a lot. And so this is a
Hmm.
really good example of how you can go into some dimensional spaces that you're not really used to. So when you're doing the open eye meditation or the conscious gazing called Tritak, you can literally you can take your gaze into, say, a point dot, a large bindu that you're going to pin up on
Mm.
the wall. Okay.
Yeah.
Or you can just look at the wall. Now, as you're doing that, you may notice that the wall starts to molecularize. You start to see these moving points of light that seem
Yeah.
to be composing the wall. Well, you're now
Mm.
going into the elemental realm. So that's
Hmm.
a common dimensional space to go into, right?
Yeah. Yeah,
So,
I started tripping. I seen the door move. Like I was just looking at the wall. Next, you know, the door did one of them. Like I was like, hold
yeah.
up, did the door just move? But it didn't. Like I was like, that was weird.
And then try to keep it center in your attention. That would be
Mm,
your aim at that point, to keep it center in your attention.
yeah,
Don't let it move. Same thing with the candle flame. Don't let it move and dance around. Keep it center in your
mm.
field because
That's the same with that portal in the mind. You got to follow it,
you're learning
but
to
it's
center
like
your
it's.
attention in on attention itself and be in your own felt presence. Now
Hmm.
there's nothing that's not possible. Now there's no confusion. Everything that
Yeah.
happens in this, right? You're going to go into fear
Hmm.
much less once you
Yeah.
achieve this state, right?
Hmm.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Because then it just expands and
That's pretty dope,
fills
though.
in visually with what it does.
Yeah. Because there's certain things that I didn't. I always felt like I was just out of like my gift was like out of bodies because I felt like I got pushed out. Like
Yeah.
they just forced me. Like you gonna go out there, you gonna experience all this stuff. And because I used to look up like the Hindus and the Buddhists and all that stuff, and they'd be like, you have to practice for this many years to have this transcending experience. I'm like, hold
Yeah,
up, I
yeah.
just had 7 of them yesterday.
Yeah, yeah. Well,
Like,
you are in an incarnation where
mm,
this was the function this was the purpose and function of the life. This was your
mm,
graduation point.
yeah,
And you're connecting with many other of your graduation points, in additional dimensions as well, and we're
Yeah.
meeting those, right, in the OBE. We're just
Hmm.
reintegrating with a larger aspect with a larger sense of ourself, however we want to say that.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, we don't
Yeah.
have to go out of body by laying down and going through what we call dreaming or through meditation. We can go right through the open eye field, right?
Yeah.
So let there
It's
be
a
no
strength.
let there be no way that you can't get out. Yeah.
It's a lot of ways.
Yeah,
Some we
yeah.
don't even know right now.
Super
But
fun too. Super fun too. The
yeah.
visuals are phenomenal. Yeah, I've
Hmm.
always
I
been.
usually go through vision. Like if I close my eyes, I can have images pop up in my head really fast,
Mhm.
and that's another way how I used to like I would come out my body. But a
Yeah.
lot of times I would just go to a random place because it's like I would have like random visions, like it'd just be some random person walking in the park or something. I'll be like, why am I seeing this? But if I push my consciousness into that image, I'll have like I just had this out of body right into this image, but it's more like a consciousness shift. It's like you just like a consciousness floating around this
You aimed
place.
your own attention at what interested you. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
No, excellent. I see when I'm consciously falling asleep. I laugh when I say that now, right? Because we're waking up somewhere
Yeah.
else. Um, yeah, I'll always get flashed three images.
Mm,
And so this is a game. This is my inner being communicating with me. So whatever they flash me, I say it back. Right?
mm.
They flash me a blue ball, I say blue ball. They flash me a wizard with a yellow robe, wizard with
Yeah.
yellow robe, whatever they are. On the third one, I'm there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, somehow those three images, those three symbols will equate to an entire experience and
Mm,
sort of compress it. Those symbols are a compression of it, but then I
yeah.
experience it in a linear, uncompressed format. However, when I get back, recalling those three symbols, I recall everywhere I just was. This is the
Yeah.
fascination and falling asleep consciously, or dying
Hmm.
consciously, or going into meditative or altered states consciously.
Yeah. Keeping that awareness.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah. That's what
yeah.
matters. It's like I can't like I'm very aware in out of body states, but it's been times where I wasn't. Like I've lost that awareness for a little bit, and I had to snap back. Like, hold up,
Yeah, 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 same here.
like,
Yeah.
but yeah.
Yeah, anything and everything is possible in there. The only time it was easy for me, natural and going to happen whether I was ready or not, was
Hmm.
2009 to 2014. Before and after that, yeah, no, I'm all over the place.
Yeah.